the road, 123-93. No Kawhi. Tonight we have a couple of closers, but the Bucks are taking on the Pacers, and the Knicks and the 76ers. Should be a good one tonight.
How good you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Now, here we are. It is the Morning Huddle. Get around. We got a bunch to talk about. Look real closely at your screen. You'll see RJ Ochoa wearing a shirt. I was with him when he purchased, I do believe, Super Bowl LII. It was a big lily there. How are you today, this morning, RJ?
This is actually Super Bowl LI. This was in Houston. You were there. LII was in Minnesota.
I was there
cold,
too.
And we had the Juicy Lucy's.
I remember Minnesota as RJ's longtime friend and co-host with us. Us racing to get out of Minneapolis before the blizzard hit. And we were stuck on the plane, and they were de-icing our plane, and we could just see it getting worse and worse and worse. And we might have been just about the last plane out.
Well,
you remember that?
Stunk. It was so cold. I don't miss it. I'm sure Minnesota is wonderful in the summer, but in January, it's as bad as everybody thinks.
We hope to see one of our favorite teams playing that late in the season in the future, near future. Will McClay was on with the Blitz yesterday. We're going to hear from Will. It was a great interview. You know, Will's a professional. He's not going to go too in depth, but lots of good questions. He was forthright, and so far, your premise that Zeke's going to lead the team in rushing has been backed up. Will does look at him at that. As the RB1, though, there will be some room. Lots of good questions. Will was, as usual, well, not as usual. It doesn't happen very often. But Will offered some good stuff. Can't wait for y'all to hear that if you missed any of it yesterday on the Blitz. It's a 6:02 in the morning. These NBA playoffs, man, they're starting to wear me out. And last night, you just don't get a break. I mean, every night, the good ones are the late games. Why are they doing that to us?
Yeah. So I agree with you philosophically, but last night, this game was not a good one.
No, you know it was ugly for sure.
That was the one bit of solace, is that it was, you could kind of just keep one eye on it as you were, doing this, that, or the other. I watched an episode of The Crown personally.
Oh, yeah. Where are you? By the way, where are you in The Crown?
I'm only like 4 episodes in, but still, I'm ready to say this is like one of my top 5 favorite shows of all time. I'm there.
Oh,
we just had the, I'm sure there's a name for this, but the Great Fog of like 1952 or something like that, whatever year it was in Great Britain.
I think it was the Great Fog. I don't think they had anything.
I think I don't know if there's a proper name for it, but it was the episode where they were dealing with the circumstances and the challenges surrounding that. So.
Fine historical viewing. Did you ever watch Downton Abbey?
I got into it for a little bit, but then I tapped out. So.
And my wife she's an Anglophile, so all of that.
What did you watch last night, though?
The Boston game was fun if you're a Celtic fan. So I watched a little bit of that. We've been watching this thing on Hulu about Under the Bridge.
Under the Bridge and Through the Woods.
Yeah, it's my wife. My wife's one of those people that if I ever do mysteriously disappear, she did it. It's one of those murder mysteries kind of things.
Okay.
So yeah, I was in and out. I was over at my brother cooked. He queued up. He got himself a brand new stick burner, as we say in the bid, and heated up the same stick burner that, in fact, you have. And he christened it for me, and we had a fine meal last night. So it was conversation and mulled wine and bourbon. Over.
I anticipated that you would have gone out last night to the store because it was announced yesterday afternoon, Rob, that Zeke Elliott will not be wearing number 21. So the jersey that you have isn't good anymore. He's going to be wearing number 15. This is totally for football reasons. All of this, that's exactly what all this is. The Cowboys are a better football team because he's going to wear number 15, not number 21.
I think so. Let the past be gone. This is an old yet new Zeke.
This is Kobe in 24, LeBron in 6.
Well, the number change for Kobe were for entirely different reasons.
Well,
See,
I'm
that
just
other
saying,
number
like,
was a pseudo rapist. The new number was not, but we don't talk about stuff like that. The number change what for Zeke was one thing. I don't know what kind of day Trey Lance has had in his life, but I'm not sure yesterday was one of the better ones.
yeah, this yesterday Trey got a text that said, "You're 19," and he was like, "What are you talking about?
Congratulations.
What are you talking about? I'm not 19. I'm, and they're like, you're 19. You can't even have 5, which was your San Francisco number, because our punter has.
And by the way, you're not going to make $22 million.
Yeah, also that. But the real news was the number change. Make sure you get rid of your 15 stuff. That's Zeke's now. So.
And we're not keeping your 5th year. I hope you didn't buy. That 22 million that you might have been thinking was coming. You scratched off one too many numbers. Sorry.
Make sure your lease is timed properly around.
God, that was entirely unfortunate on his end. So the Dallas Cowboys don't have a single quarterback under contract past next year.
If only there had
Isn't
been an
that comforting?
opportunity to plan ahead and to do things to get ahead of that.
Absolutely, just comforting beyond belief. How much of the late game did you watch?
All of it. I had it on.
Oh, you had
TV,
it on? I mean, because
I watched the Crown on the iPad.
Oh, really? See, I would have thought it had been the inverse.
No, I gotta do my job. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta make sure I got things in the proper places. So, yeah, Luka was divine.
Yeah, he was really. I mean, he was so Luka. He's not shooting very well, but he's the reason. And
he had the weird undershirt that was also like
okay. So you and I are
thing.
okay. That's where I was going. It's been a long time since I've seen a basketball player wear as much stuff as he had on last night, and I've never gotten wearing one thing on one side of your body and not on the other.
It was strange because I think it's weird when somebody rocks like the shirt underneath their jersey. But I'm not
opposed to it.
It's not uncommon. It's a little strange, but you see that like it's usually some sort of like compression shirt or whatever. But Luka, and I just pulled up a photo of this. What Luka has on here, it looks like a compression shirt, but his left arm
has the KT tape.
But it has like the sleeve and the tape. The right arm has no sleeve and no tape.
And then
but it has enough to go beyond the jersey, so it's still visible.
So I don't know if that's 2 shirts. Is that 1 shirt? And then we go for when you start working your way down. He's got like black leggings, white leggings, one on one knee. He's got a strained knee issue. The dude is being held together with elastic.
It's I once heard Barstool Big Cat talking about Patrick Mahomes or interviewing Patrick Mahomes, and he said, I feel like you wear a lot of bracelets. And it was, it was like a visual of like Mahomes with all this like Live Strong style bracelets. I kind of feel similarly about Luka. It's like, dude, it must take you an hour to get ready. Like this must be exhausting to put on and take off.
I enjoy watching the way Luka dominates a game. But when there's no game being played, I can't watch him anymore. He is
Why not?
Always bitching. Always. If the whistle has been blown, he is looking for a ref. I mean, it never stops. And it got to the point where I can't not notice it anymore. I've never watched a professional athlete complain more than Luka does. And a lot of it is probably justified because there's a reason why he's wearing all that crap. He does get beat up. But man, oh man, they're not going to call it, man. They're just not going to do it. 2 years in, 3 years in, it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to change. But quit your bitching. You want to talk about, did you hear Charles Barkley go off on all the press trying to get coaches fired? All those jackholes running around just talking about stuff they don't know.
No, I did not, but that's interesting. I think, yesterday was, and this game was kind of a result of it. Yesterday was kind of a fizzle for sports. Let's be honest. Let's just be straight up about it.
Well, we're hitting that time of year.
Well, like we've had so many playoff games like back to back to back to back to back that now it's like you go from your first round, or I mean, we're still in the first round for most things, but like Now it's the second round, so you don't have 2 or 3 games on every day. Now you just have 1 game on. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
And
that's what I
if
need.
if it's a bore, it's a bore. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So
as a fan, playoff volume is always better. Quantity is always better than quality in early in the playoffs. You just want a lot of really good basketball because you go for so long watching average basketball and indifferent basketball. And May is in late April is the best basketball season because we have NBA players playing at their very best. You don't get that all the time. You get it periodically, and you're getting maybe 2 players a night, but now you're getting everybody keyed up, dialed in, and bringing the skill set that brought them to where they are. And you don't get it for very long. It's like when the salmon run. You better be there. You better watch. You get about 2 weeks of glorious, great basketball. Every team involved it has a plot and a reason and an arc, and you have to kind of ride the wave because it'll quickly fizzle, and some of those storylines start peeling off. And sometimes the best storylines continue. Some years, the best storylines kind of fade into the early part of the playoffs. And I'll be real honest, I'm afraid we might be heading that direction.
yeah, it's a tough scene.
Well, because look, Boston's getting ready to take on Cleveland or Orlando. So, barring some kind of, the kind of thing that we look forward to, but barring that doesn't look very difficult. I'm not sure whoever comes out of this death match Sixer Nick fight, if they're going to have anything left, because Tibbs only got 7 dudes anyway, and Embiid's running on a 3-quarter tank. So whoever comes out of that on that side and plays a Milwaukee Pacer team that has all kinds of questions. The East, look, the way Boston looked last night, that was as thorough a destruction as I've seen. But what I'm afraid of is we're going to get all the fun stuff's going to be over early. We have to wait a couple of weeks for the true clash, and we're 3 weeks away from that.
This that's what I'm saying. Like tonight has elite potential.
Tonight should be spectacular. 2 games.
So tonight, and as a Bruins fan.
See, I wish I had that.
Well, it's not too late. You could pick an NHL.
See, I try to manufacture that. It's like, hey, come over and watch Super Slam. And you go over there and go, okay, for the last 19 weeks. And you're like, well, man, okay, I'm not going to get the gravity of the situation. I had no idea there's this plot line as long as the Civil War. Okay, so I'm here at the end. Catch me up.
So, but either way, tonight we have the Bucks facing elimination. We'll see what happens. We have the Sixers facing elimination. I know they were talking about this on Unsportsmanlike a little while ago, for anyone who was listening to that. What do you make of Michael Rubin and the ownership group around there buying all the tickets? Did you see this story?
It's a wise move.
I think it's wise from an advantage standpoint. Right? I think it's the right move to make if you care about the Sixers winning. But it's kind of it's
embarrassing.
Look.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, it can be the right move, but still an embarrassing move at the same time.
RJ, this is in my past, scene. And there's a group of fans listening right now, and you know who you are. Sadly, you probably woke up a little sore. Your joints a little achy. Probably the guys listening probably went to the bathroom a few times last night. We have to be of an age. But there was a time in San Antonio when we had this guy named David Robinson, and over in Houston, I had this guy named Hakeem Olajuwon. And we were in this slugfest of a basketball series where the home team did not win a single game. Consider that. That was a playoff series where the home team didn't win a game. And Mattress Mac in Houston, we're playing, this is David Robinson's greatest year as a pro. He had scored 71 points coming out the regular season. He was the MVP by no question. IBM Player of the Year, led everything and everybody. Hakeem Olajuwon and the Houston Rockets rolled in here and proceeded to kick our ass. And by game, they were bringing their guys in. Mattress Mac was bringing like 18 buses to come and play in our building. And watching Rocket fan walk around and gloat like that, there was about to be a true civil war. And if I could avoid that as an owner, I'm buying the tickets up. I ain't letting that crap happen. I'd rather take the embarrassment of having to buy the tickets than have to suffer through the embarrassment of watching the other team walk around in my building. I would much rather just shovel the money over and call me whatever you want to call me, but I ain't looking at that crap.
It's a bit embarrassing.
Oh God, it was humiliating.
At least you're admitting of that.
Oh, it's humiliating. It really was. And I tell you what, you talk about deep-seated hatred for, longtime rival. And that cemented for me the Rockets. Like, I will forever despise you guys. And it was great fandom. I mean, I should have, in hindsight, wow. I mean, that group traveled. They got on buses and came. That team and the Eagles with the body bag game. And those are the things that are ingrained in Cowboy fandom. If you're of an age, you go, I will never forget that. Never.
Well,
I don't hold grudges, though.
Congratulations.
I don't hold grudges. Wow. Let's talk about what we saw last night. Is Boston absolutely unstoppable? In Philadelphia, it is a code red, all hands on deck, and owner buying tickets. And can the Pacers actually shut them down? Can Halliburton and crew take it on? We're talking NBA next. Hang around with us. I got some tickets to give away, too. It's the Morning Huddle. That's RJ. I'm Rob, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1.
Train heating and cooling systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Get ready for the ultimate Kentucky Derby experience at Retama Park on May 4th. Join us for a day filled with excitement and celebration. From 8:30 a.m. onwards, you can immerse yourself in the spirit of the races, culminating in the thrilling Run for the Roses at 5:50 p.m. Your package includes a complimentary mint julep, delicious heavy hors d'oeuvres, and a Kentucky Derby race day tip sheet from Big Day Wins. Don't miss out on this unforgettable event at Retama Park in Selma. Book your tickets now.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Saturday, May the 4th, it's going down at Twin Peaks. You can't miss this epic night. Pound for pound, great Canelo Alvarez defends his undisputed title against Jaime Munguia. Plus, UFC 301 promises ranked matchups down the card. Show up early for scenic views of all the action. Contact your favorite Twin Peaks for availability and cover information. And don't forget, Twin Peaks is celebrating Cinco de Mayo big this year with sweet deals on tequilas, cervezas, and more. Get to Twin Peaks this Sunday and celebrate Cinco de Mayo right.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
For the last 4 decades, San Antonio sports has dared this community to dream big through the transformational power of sport. For 40 years, we've inspired youth to get in the game, motivated San Antonians to live healthy, been a force behind places to play, and hosted events that impact. As we celebrate 40 years of dreaming big, we invite you to dream big along with us. To support our mission, donate to AntonioSports.org.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ROLL to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ROLL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ROLL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Listen to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star on your Amazon or Google smart speaker and just say, Alexa, play 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We dare you. Say it. Just say it to Alexa. That's RJ. I'm Rob. It's the Morning Huddle. I'm in the middle of I'm about to take my brother up on a bet.
Okay.
I was just thinking about it. We were kind of talking about it earlier as we were getting ready for the show. I bet him that I bet my brother that I could complete and cook an entire meal in my office break room.
I don't know about that.
I think I could put together a meal of note. But we're going to see. He's got a break room much like mine. We're going to see if it can be done. So I know it was a bet made under the influence.
Okay.
But a bet nonetheless. It was a good bourbon though.
What?
It was a fine glass of bourbon. The last one I remember. And I awoke to a bet that I evidently made. But I think I could do it.
I don't.
Yeah. Wow, you show such little confidence.
I have little confidence. I'll say it explicitly. In fact, I have no confidence.
There's a lot of us that have worked with very limited stuff. I bet there's a struggle meal out there that people could throw together with a microwave and like a griddle.
I don't think you could.
I'm thinking that I can, and now I know what you're doing.
I'm doubting you.
You're giving me the fuel.
You can't do it though.
See,
fail.
I fight the doubters. See, I get up and grind every day to fight the doubters like you.
Okay.
And if you've got a couple minutes, I'd like to talk to you about a business opportunity I have for you.
I can tell you this: we'll be rolling up our sleeves and going to work.
And thank you very much.
So basketball.
Yeah, the Celtics. I praise Spoelstra when they got that game in Philly, and the professionalism in the locker room. What I mistook was for professionalism and resolution was a resolved. Well, that was fun. Let's just go ahead and pack up. When he said "let's go home," I thought he was just meaning temporarily, but no, they were just going home. Boston whooped their ass. I don't know what the Heat culture. We're going to give the culture a pass. Yesterday, there was no culture yesterday. Now they're missing all kinds of tools. I'll give them that, but there was no culture in that arena yesterday.
To your point on the line, when the Packers won the 2010 NFC Championship game, I don't know if you remember this. They beat the Chicago. Yeah, they beat the Chicago Bears. This was right before this was Mike McCarthy's Super Bowl. No, that was who was the Bears coach at the time?
No, I mean Rex Grossman. Was he the quarterback for this one?
No. Oh. It was Jay Cutler.
Oh, okay, the Cutler. Okay, I'm with you. Yeah, okay.
This was, I think it was still Lovey. But anyway,
it was.
At the time, this was 2010. President Obama was the president,
and Chicago win.
Right, and he had Chicago win, obviously, in case somebody was living under a rock, big time Chicago guy, obviously. And he had said if the Bears the Super Bowl was being played at what was then Cowboy Stadium, and President Obama had said if the Bears won, he was going to go to the Super Bowl. And so, like, immediately after the Bears lose the title game, he says, I'm not going to go, whatever. And Charles Woodson, who was the safety for the Green Bay Packers, he had, I thought, one of the sickest lines of all time. That was similar to the Spoelstra thing we were talking about. He said, again, they're celebrating going to the Super Bowl. He stands up, he says, well, if the president won't come see us, let's go see him. Awesome. And it was like, holy crap, that is so cool. that is awesome. They did, yeah. And so this was not that. And looking back on this, if it had been anybody else that beat the Celtics in game 2, I think we would have been like, okay, it'll be fine. But we got a little bit wrapped up in the culture ourselves.
I did.
The Celtics won these games, their 4 games. They won 114-94 in game 1. Then they bounced back from game 2 and won game 3, 104-84, 102-88, 118-84. This was never close. This was annihilation.
There's something about how they did it that I think is worthy of note. I mean, I do believe that there is there are steps you have to take to become a champion. It's an old thing about you can't skip steps. Well, you can skip steps, but there are certain steps you can't. And you have to, there's something about overcoming demons, overcoming the team that got you. And last night was a thorough, whatever the Miami Heat were to us, they no longer are. And it was kind of like that. I saw that with the Timberwolves and the Suns. With the Timberwolves, they've skipped a bunch of steps. They have. I mean, they've grown, but they've skipped a few to get to where they are. But the way that they dispatched the Suns was one of those like, you know what? We're so much better than you that you can do whatever the hell you want for a little bit. And you might have a little bit of success, but we ain't afraid. And the way Boston looked last night, zero fear. There's nothing you guys are going to do tonight to beat us. And Miami very quickly realized it. And again, they were so remarkably shorthanded. That's the way Boston should have been. But that's the thing about them is they played to the level. I mean, they always, if they were playing a weaker team, they always looked a little weak too. So that was one of those, let's turn the page. We need to thoroughly destroy a team on the road, not only for our psyche, but to let them know you're going to have to retool if you're ever going to come at us again.
Yeah. I mean, that's the mark of an elite team,
to
be clear. And they are going to wax the Cavs match.
You get the sense, don't you?
It is not going to be close. So that winner may not even be determined until Sunday. You know what I mean? Because game 6 is not till tomorrow. So goodness gracious. And then, I mean, obviously we're excited for this Sixers series to continue, but whoever wins this is the only threat, right? To taking down Boston, because there's no way but we believe Milwaukee's going to do it.
No, not given current health status. No.
Right. And to be clear, I'm talking in the East, like, I don't know. This might have been the biggest challenge for Boston. I know that's kind of rich to say, but I'm kind of ready to. We've allowed ourselves to get a little into the Timberwolves. Well, you have.
I'm still. In fact, with every passing minute, I'm getting more and more.
You're doing a cake stand on the Timberwolves.
I'm getting there.
And the Nuggets are obviously, because they beat the Lakers. I think they were like front and center in front of our faces. I'm ready to pick the Celtics to win it all. I mean, I'm not saying it's like a bold take, but like I'm ready I'm ready to like really believe in it. Like it's felt like the bottom's gonna come out. I don't feel that way anymore.
Did Brad Stevens just pick up another award?
Probably.
I think I saw Brad got GM of the year. Or where do we stand on all the NBA awards? By the way,
we're still waiting on the official ones. If that's what you're talking.
We had a few come out. Like we've got the most improved. Brad Stevens was just named NBA Basketball's Executive of the Year, the one-time pharmaceutical salesman, and is now the best. He's in the top 3 of the GMs, and the guy that hired him is in the top 3, and Danny Ainge. And then there's a rotating group of others that have gotten that award. What else have we had? Maxey was most improved. Is that all we've gotten?
So far, yeah.
Well, they're going to have to step on the awards bandwagon here. We're going to have to get more. I mean, we're going to have to. What are we doing here? We're running out of time.
Yeah. Hurry up, guys. What are you waiting on?
I mean, and we have also been given. They added a new one. That's right. We got the clutch player of the year.
Oh, that's right. Steph won the clutch player.
Curry got the. Let's just throw the clutch one out early. So
yeah.
They did that. No offense, but I don't give a damn about Zeke talk this morning. Dallas Stars. Here we go. RJ, will you regale Hunter Hitch on the status of the Dallas Stars? I'd like to help, but I can't.
Actually, my external monitor right now has an article from NHL.com that my friend Taylor Baird wrote. She's great at covering the Stars. And it's about the Stars winning Game 5. First home team to win a game this series. We'd seen nothing but the road teams winning.
As I described earlier. That's very odd.
The Stars, they're the 1 seed in the West. They will head to Vegas with a chance to close this thing out. But no offense to Hunter, I kind of hope they don't. I want to see a Game 7. Just I'm itching for one. Yeah, we've seen a lot of playoffs right now and no Game 7s. Maybe the Sixers can push us there tonight.
In their sport, who is more transcendent as we speak, or ascendant? McDavid or Anthony, the Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards? Are they essentially the same kind of guy, or is McDavid that much different? Like this is truly a generational kind of thing.
I think right now, and as far as what's going on in this moment in time, Ant's the best show going.
Oh, really? Okay, I thought McDavid was, from what I'd been reading. Like he's dropping dimes like he never had before. That he'd improved some of this. From this is again on the outside looking in. It seems like McDavid has become the guy. And it feels like it's relatively recent transitioning. And we can see that in the NBA. We'll talk more about the NBA today at 7 o'clock when we do Silver and Black, looking at a couple of mock drafts. There's one in particular, and keep in mind the lottery is coming, and the Spurs have every opportunity to get number one as well, unfortunately. You don't really want number one this year, I don't think, because no matter what you do, there's probably going to be one or two better than the guy you draft in a couple of years. We'll look at where the Spurs opportunities lie. Bleacher Report likes a foreign point guard, a local point guard, and a big in the first and second rounds. We'll look at who those guys are and what the Spurs might be doing at 7 o'clock. Coming back, Zeke had him a day, got him a new number. Will McClay joined the Blitz yesterday, and what was a wide-ranging and very in-depth interview. I applaud the guys for doing what they did yesterday. We want to thank Will for stopping by. He talked about Zeke. He talked about Tyler Smith. He talked about finding talent hither and yon and the kind of guys that he likes. It's a great conversation. You're not going to want to miss it. Will McClay coming around the bend. He was on the Blitz yesterday. You get a taste of it next. This is the Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on the Blitz, we're going to step into the boxing ring with Mario Barrios. He will join us at 2:15.
Yeah, but we're not fighting. He is, though, on Saturday night on the Canelo Alvarez undercard as he defends his title. Mario Barrios at 2:15. Plus, we'll talk with John McClain from HoustonTexans.com at 5:15.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Without the ones like you who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. A letter in your mailbox says you could save money bundling your home and auto insurance with Progressive. Bad news. You saw it after your teenager backed the car into the mailbox. Dumb news. A new mailbox, basically a box on a stick, costs up to $400. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and go with paperless mail instead. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit NoTimeToWait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people are fed, futures are nourished. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, we have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-460-3550 to speak with a live person now.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-5407. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-5407. That's 800-575-5407. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
The Home Depot wants every mom to have their own outdoor oasis this Mother's Day, so give her the gift of the perfect outdoor space with some new patio and deck furniture, like the Stylewell Park Point 4-piece patio set, a stylish and comfortable place to entertain when she wants to, or relax when she needs to get away. And with convenient delivery, you won't have to stress over getting it to her either. Shop outdoor furniture like the Stylewell Park Point 4-piece patio set right now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-494-6139.
Joe Reinagle here. I want to tell you about something that has completely changed my life. I had vision correction surgery at Parkhurst New Vision. The results are amazing. The readers are a thing of the past. Hey, if you're like me and tired of those glasses, call Parkhurst New Vision at 210-585-2020. They offer a variety of services like vision correction surgery. So call Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020, or get them online at sanantoniolasik.com.
Jason Minix here from the Blitz with the NBA playoffs here. You want to get in on the action and have fun watching the games the way I do? Make sure you download the Underdog Fantasy app and start playing their pick'em game, where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build a pick'em entry. Select higher or lower on player stats. If your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money. Endless projections to choose from. You create your own experience. It's a ton of fun to play. I love winning on the pick'em game, obviously. It is fantasy, but legal in Texas. So get signed up at UnderdogFantasy.com or download the Underdog Fantasy app. Use my promo code STAR when you sign up, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they'll give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, promo code STAR when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com.
Let's go!
Hi, it's Jason Minix. You're listening to the home of the Cowboys, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Thanks, Jason Minix. Blitz will be live tomorrow out at Retama Park in preparation for the first Saturday in May, the greatest 3 minutes in sports, the Kentucky Derby. I was going to make jokes, but I'm just not even going to go to the 3 minute, greatest 3 minutes. I'm just not even going to go there. It would have been very easy to.
It would have been,
but I'm not going to go the sophomoric route, RJ. I'm an adult in the room. I'm going to act as such.
Good for you.
No, it's dull. Sucks. Will McClay is sometimes, I believe, the only adult in the room. In many instances, as far as acumen and football prowess. Is he the finest football mind to walk that building? I mean, truly, is he the guy, the football guy in the building? Even though we're talking about guys with 30 years experience, we're still looking at, I feel like Will McClay is the football guy.
He is widely regarded as the most important, the best, the only legitimate person in that front office. I think that's the kind of internet.
And is that a fair, in your estimation, a fair assessment of the man? Because when we talk about the Cowboys, like it or not, they are a built, not bought team.
So I think that Will McClay is awesome, to be very, very, very clear.
But the true meaning of a sentence does not begin until after the but.
But I think that we sometimes over glorify him and under criticize him.
I think I fall in that category.
We treat everything great as if it's Will McClay and everything bad as if it's Jerry Jones. And you know, Will's fortunate that he has that insulation. Anybody would be in that situation. I mean, he's in, he oversees the scouting department and the draft process and things like that. Their draft class was horrible last year. They've had some huge misses in the second and third round, and yes, they've had a lot of hits, and again, I'll sing songs about his praises all day long, but
he's not Teflon. He's made mistakes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We tend to overlook those things because we want to believe that he's infallible.
But that being said, I think all in all, there's not an NFL team that wouldn't be happy to have Will McClay on their staff. I mean, so we're giving him the credit. And that being said, I do think that he is in a very difficult situation in many instances because, I mean, it is the Dallas Cowboys. So where do you want to begin with the conversation yesterday? Because, he's an adept. He's adept at, sidestepping and smoothing and not answering fully. And I thought he did a pretty good job with all of them. And some of the stuff, as we've had a conversation regarding Zeke, his belief in Zeke is unwavering. I don't know how to describe.
Good for you, Will. I mean,
this is Will proving RJ correct and me absolutely wrong.
The NFL now is running back by committee. There is no one back that carries the load for teams anymore. So that designation for Zeke being RB1 is well deserved because he is RB1, but we're going to do it by committee. And, we've got a stable of backs that Mike and Shadi will find a way to use them to the best of their abilities and help us in the run game and the passing game.
It's Zeke.
Oh, so now you're walking.
No, by this. Back. No, I'm not. I don't like it.
What do you mean you're not? You were screaming that it wasn't going to be.
I don't want it to be. I still don't think it is. But when he says Zeke and other guys, if he'd have just named another name, I'd have been okay.
Well, even if he did name other guys, he mentioned Royce, and it's like, well, dude. All due respect to Royce Freeman.
Yeah, I know it's not going to be Royce Freeman.
Nobody is taking that seriously. I mean, and that's like, again, the point always was, if the going gets tough, if something important is happening, do you expect any of us to believe that you're going to have Royce Freeman be in over Zeke Elliott? No. This is, you know what I mean? Like, this is the prince that was promised.
I'm gagging on it, but I still, in my heart of hearts, just can't imagine this coming. But they asked Will, this was the question. This was the meatball, the matzo ball that came down the pipe. Why you didn't draft a running back? This was McClay's response.
Well, it's not like we didn't want to draft one, but every player and has a value, and we grade players by round definition, expectations. We go into it essentially saying which players are going to be starters, can be a starter by year 2 or 3, be a good backup, be player 48 to 53. So they all fit into a certain category based on our grade by position, and we don't want to force anything. We're not the draft board is put up based on players and not based on specific positions. And so as you go through that process, you assign these values for guys. And, if it doesn't work or fit at the time of your pick, because there's 31 other teams picking to try and fill their needs too. And so you go through it. And if you don't fill it, you fill it in free agency by Royce Freeman, having the opportunity to get Zeke back. So we felt like that if we didn't address it in the draft, we had a plan to address it.
So we didn't give a damn.
They signed Royce Freeman like a week before the draft, and the opportunity to sign Zeke back. Again, I really don't enjoy poo-pooing this.
Yeah,
but
this one, that was a bunch of gobbledygook.
Did you have a lot of competition, Will? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
just tell us. My boss didn't want a running back. My boss told me that we had Zeke and this guy Freeman, so I didn't even look at running back. Honestly, going into the draft, I had taken them all off my board because my boss told me to.
I mean, obviously that sounds a little silly, but I believe that to be true more than I do.
That's what it was.
And I'm not faulting him, or I don't think this is like incompetence or anything like that. But I mean, it goes to show it's not the proper term here, but the nepotism involved. I mean, they wanted Zeke back, and they were gonna.
Well put, Marco.
Look, they made decisions about their roster to not only create a world where Zeke could come back, because they could have done that anyway, but to create a world where Zeke could come back and be a legitimate part of their team. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, if you really believe, whoever you are, that they signed Zeke to come in and be some sort of just, the 52nd guy on the roster, man, wake up. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I wouldn't go that far deep, but he would be on a lot of teams.
He would be on any other team, Rob. I mean, but no, he is coming in to be a focal part of what they do. That's what they wanted. And the sooner you can accept that and come to terms with it, I think the sooner you can find the inner peace that I have on this subject. It's, silly, but it is, and it's silly, and at the same time, the move is logical, but the move is only logical because of the world that we live in, right? Like, this is
in the bizarro world that we live in as Cowboy fan.
I don't know if you watched Multiverse of Madness, the Doctor Strange movie.
I live in the multiverse of madness.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, at one point, he reaches a dimension where, like, there's no human beings. They're all just, like, floating blobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're in that dimension. It's just, this is life. You know what I mean? You just have to understand the rules of being this deep down the rabbit hole.
And we live in that rabbit hole, and we'll stay there. As Mr. Stevenson would ask. Coming around the bend, I got a question for you. Kansas City released a mock-up, a drawing of their new stadium, and it's domed.
Oh, so actually, I hate to correct you. It's Kansas City didn't. Well, it depends how you define this. This is not.
This is an unknown developer with an unknown place in Kansas, which I think is
Kansas
also
City.
Yeah,
right
in Kansas.
So,
but there is a mock-up, and I really wanted to go with the dome. Can you imagine Kansas City under a dome stadium? Buffalo built a new one. They don't have a dome. Let's talk about if you're building a new stadium, Chicago. Do you want domes? Do you have to have a dome, or is open air still a thing if you're in the cold weather places? Because I don't know. We'll be right back. It's the Morning Huddle here on 94.1. This is San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 FM.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
I got a little drunk the other night and went to my neighbor's house to see my dog that I gave him.
What? Hold on.
You gave it away?
Yeah.
The dog's going to miss you and think you're coming to pick it up, and then he's going to be sad.
You're turning the dog's life into a Supreme song, man. He's like, set me free, why don't you, baby? You just keep me hanging on.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
The wait is almost over. Get ready for the 2024 NFL season as the full schedule is announced.
Bring it!
Every rivalry, every rematch, every rookie debut, every game revealed. The 2024 NFL schedule release, presented by Verizon, coming in May. Live on NFL Network, ESPN2, and streaming on NFL Plus. Terms and conditions apply to NFL Plus. Visit NFL.com/schedule release to learn more.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Let our team keep your home running comfortable and worry-free. Call on Mr. Electric for all your electrical needs. 210-248-2026. Or get a hold of us online at mrelectric.com and enter your zip code.
License number TECL 34221.
The Big Blind is celebrating their official grand opening May 8th through the 12th with an epic weekend, starting with a 12K tournament on Wednesday the 8th. 10K tournaments Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with $500 high hands every half hour and a 5K Texas free roll on Sunday. Plus, daily blackjack tournaments. Plan now to celebrate the Big Blind grand opening next week. The Big Blind, down from the roof of at 281 in Redland Road. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Experience the Kentucky Derby weekend at Retama Park in Selma, Texas on May 3rd and 4th. Join us for the biggest pre-derby party on Friday and the main event on Saturday. Enjoy drinks, delicious food, and thrilling races. Don't miss this chance to celebrate the Derby tradition with us.
Good morning, everybody. Joe Reinagle here. Coming up on the Blitz, we're going to step into the boxing ring. Mario Barrios will join us from Las Vegas. He's got a big fight coming up this week, and we'll hear all about it. Plus, John McClain will join us to talk all things Houston, including the Texans and the Astros. Hey, Rob, is that really a purse you carry?
First of all, I prefer European man bag. Welcome back to the Morning Huddle.
Is there a second of all?
Second of all, it's not a purse, though it may appear to the naked eye to be a purse. And this is content set aside only for those who are viewing on their devices.
Oh, it looks like a wine bag.
Well, for all intents, it basically is without the compartments, but I use it as my lunch box. And from far away, I concede it may look like flowers. I concede it may look a little bit like flowers, but when you get real close, it's definitely flowers. But that doesn't really matter. It's functional. And here's the reason why Joe Reinagle and the rest of the Blitz and those that work in my building who choose to mock what they don't understand. It's quiet. It's insulated, and I can fit it into my very full refrigerator and previously packed from the night before, and it doesn't make a lot of noise when I exit, because in my house, if I make anything more than I have 3 dogs that are ready to rip the throats out of anything that has come to attack their loved parents. So I have to creep around like a cat burglar, or I can't. So it's quiet softness that I'm looking for.
I have a problem with this bag that isn't what you're thinking. I don't care about the design.
Good. Okay.
But is it magnetic at the top? It's hard to tell.
It does. It has a magnetic closure on the top.
Okay, that softens my point. Nothing annoys me quite like when you're getting ready for a road trip, and whether it's my wife or somebody who's packed bags for me to put in the car, and they're tote bags, so they don't close at the top.
No. See,
that bothers
why
me.
we have so many damn tote bags? We've got 1,000 tote bags at our house.
Oh,
and I hate every one of them. Why?
But that's my point. Like, and I understand you want to put some like snacks in there, and you want to put in the back seat so you can access or whatever for the ride. Okay, cool. I got no problems with this. But you can't give me 6 tote bags and expect me to lay them horizontally in the back, because the fact that they don't close means that the stuff's gonna fall out. I know this isn't an airing of grievances, but I really hate when that happens.
We will save that for a grievances airing. And also they're open, so anything with hands can reach in and get into it, especially if they're on the floor and the floorboard behind you.
People put like pillows in these tote bags. How is that helpful? Like, how is it helpful to have a tote bag for this?
Well, easy to carry. If you had to buy a ticket to a game in December or January or February, and to your favorite team, and you could pick the environs, would you want to go see
100%.
Kansas City at and 3 degrees, or would you want to go see Kansas City in a comfortable 72?
I think that you need to have a retractable roof, as Marco mentions.
Well, why? Okay, so you want to retract it when the weather's bad. I mean, the reason I bring it up is there are some teams, Buffalo, who continue to believe that the weather can play a role, that it's good to be accustomed to the cold. And if you bring a team in there, there is benefit to freezing a team to death like Miami.
Do you know where Josh Allen is from?
Timbuktu.
He's from California. He's from California. Do you know where Keon Coleman, the Bills' first-round draft pick, went to college?
I believe the land is
second-round
known
draft pick.
as I don't know.
He went to Florida State.
Okay.
So does this young man have an advantage playing in the cold than in Tallahassee?
Everybody has an advantage in Tallahassee.
That's what I'm saying. Like the idea that just like by putting on the Bills uniform, you have this magic resistance to
I agree.
cold weather now.
But they've just
is
Buffalo
ridiculous.
decided, you know what, we like this cold weather. We'll get used to it, and you guys are gonna have to suffer through it.
I will just say
the Green
this.
Bay principle.
If you want a Super Bowl, you better put a retractable roof on. It's worth it. It's worth it for that alone.
But you know what? They could build the finest dome in all the world in both Buffalo and Kansas City, and neither one of them would ever get a Super Bowl.
Minnesota got one. Minnesota's had multiple.
It's Kansas City and Buffalo ain't half the size of Minneapolis, St. Paul.
I think Kansas City has potential.
No, they'll never get it. Trust me. They don't have enough hotel rooms. They won't get it. San Antonio has as good a chance of getting the Super Bowl as Kansas City.
Look,
and Buffalo too.
By the end of Patrick Mahomes' illustrious career, whatever that looks like, the infrastructure, the sports infrastructure specifically around Kansas City will have developed tenfold. That it might be possible. Like there's a world.
Maybe possible if they got shuttle buses running from where? Wichita? There ain't enough hotel rooms in the entire state of Kansas to put up with a Super Bowl.
Why are you obsessed with Kansas? It's Missouri.
Well, I'm just what else? Okay, Springfield. I mean, what else is in Missouri? I'm trying to find the tri-state area that can feed this. Maybe they're coming down from Chicago, but Chicago will have her dome stadium. See, the Bears should build a dome stadium of all the places. Host a Super Bowl. Let's go to Chicago for a Super Bowl. Hey, coming back, there's all kind of mockery made of drafts, and we got a new one, and the Spurs are drafting second. Look at those that are coming, and a scouting report that might be coming from the inside. Is his name Rob Dillingham? Ring a bell? We'll be right back on the Morning Huddle.
KTFM Floresville. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the Aggies.
Progressive asks, what do a middle school slumber party,
Let's stay up all night. Yeah!
a sleep-deprived girl, an early morning paper route, and a poorly thrown rolled-up newspaper have in common?
Hey, my window!
They can become a fast-breaking news story.
Sorry, Mr. Thompson.
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive for great savings and round-the-clock protection.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% when you buy 68 or more OSB sheathing. Plus, get an extra 5% off every day on eligible purchases when you use your Lowe's business credit card. Get low prices on the materials you need today because Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. 5% offer subject to credit approval. Exclusions and terms apply. See store at Lowe's.com/credit for details. U.S. only.
Before you fire up that grill, make sure you get into Tri-County Meat Market. Hi, Jason Minix here. Tri-County Meat Market has everything you need. If you're thinking steaks, you want some chicken, some poppers, beef ribs, pork ribs, brisket, picanha, tri-tip. They've got it all at Tri-County Meat Market. Take advantage of their Pick 5 for $25, and Tri-County always offers a 10% discount for military and first responders. Tri-County Meat Market, 2 locations on Ralph Fair Road and on Heebner, or online at tricountymeat.com.
Why do so many dogs suffer from weight issues, skin problems, messy poops, and low energy? It could be the popular dog food you put in their bowl each day.
Cody was sleeping a lot, wasn't playing.
She was very lethargic and not moving around.
Dry kibble just wasn't cutting it. That's why, after more than 45 years of experience of helping dogs make complete health turnarounds, veterinarian Dr. Marty created Nature's Blend. It's a freeze-dried raw dog food made with wholesome ingredients like premium meats, seeds, vegetables, and fruit. And once dog parents switch their pups to Nature's Blend, the results can be astounding.
She's got her energy back. She's running around like she did like 5 years ago.
Miraculously, she's just feeling all around better. She's like a new dog. Thank you, Dr. Marty.
Get your dog started today and save up to 54% off Nature's Blend. Plus, receive a free pack of our best-selling beef liver dog treats. Go to drmartypets.com/good or text GOOD to 511-511. Text GOOD to 511-511. All dogs are unique. Your dog's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
At Progressive, we know how much you love your recreational vehicles, so we decided to record this commercial in an RV.
With a family on vacation.
Mom, who are these people? Oh, that's Flo and Jamie. They're recording a commercial, sweetie. Don't they do that in the studio?
Normally.
No.
But we wanted to feature a family who bundled their home and RV and saved with Progressive.
Yeah, it looks like you're all out of chips.
Okay, I think we'll just drop you off at the next gas station.
Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
QC Kinetics provided amazing pain relief for a former professional baseball player, and you have access to the same life-changing treatments as retired Braves pitcher Jose Alvarez.
I put a lot of stress and strain and work on my right arm, but my right elbow took most of the damage with 3 surgeries.
Arthritis developed, and the pain was unbearable.
It wasn't just pain when I was trying to play sports. It was anytime I was moving the right elbow. It was pretty excruciating at times.
That's when Jose discovered QC Kinetics and the regenerative treatments that help the body heal itself, restoring damaged tissue and providing relief with no surgery or downtime. Jose's message to the medical professionals at QC Kinetics?
My elbow is feeling outstanding. Where were you 10 years ago, for crying out loud?
QC Kinetics is right here. Call for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318.
94.1 FM. San Antonio's Sports Center.
In the NBA, the Boston Celtics dispatched the Miami Heat 118-84, closing out the series 4-1, a gentleman's sweep complete. The Mavs and the Clippers battle continues as Luka carried the Mavericks past the Clippers on the road last night. Tonight we have a couple of more possible closeouts. Bucks, Pacers, Sixers, Philly.
Wembanyama three, good! Goes behind the back here. Oh! Little sidestep and a jam by Wembanyama. Oh, it's knocked away by Wembanyama.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. With Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
Hey, gather around. There's a bunch to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Welcome to Small Friday, Big Thursday, whatever it may be. Going to be a fine sporting day all the way around. He's RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson. We bring you the huddle every day from 6 to 10. NBA playoffs are keeping us up late, and last night certainly did the job. Dallas, this Dallas, the Clipper series, I hate both teams, so it's the funnest games to watch because no matter what happens, I'm happy. Somebody gonna lose.
That's some good perspective.
And Kawhi's not playing, so it makes it even sweeter.
Also good perspective. So, it was, but kind of a boring game.
It was a boring, ugly game, which is exactly what the Mavericks wanted.
Wow, good for them.
It's a interesting situation that the entire Los Angeles basketball market finds themselves. You got Magic apologizing to the team, saying that, well, you're not a bunch of idiots. Some of you are. They're all calling for the head coach's head, Darvin Ham. And guys like us kind of sit on the sidelines. Charles Barkley was on the on his show, the boys there on TNT.
This was tough.
This is funny.
Part of our job, we watch all the games and we watch all the talk shows, You know, a lot of these people on television, they're cowards because they want the players to like them. They don't want to do their job, which is to tell the truth. And I just want to say this about coaching. Anybody who thinks the reason the Lakers suck is because of Darvin Ham, or the reason the Suns suck is because of Frank Vogel, you don't know what you're talking about. Frank Vogel is a hell of a coach. Darvin Ham is a hell of a coach trying to get his career started. But for all you punks, idiots, and jackasses on other networks who want to be media and who want all the players to like y'all, do your damn job. The Lakers suck, and the Suns suck because of the players. Has nothing to do with the coaches. I feel better now.
Here, I can tell. Looks like you are.
I'm glad Charles got that off his chest.
Like getting that off your chest.
I did. I hate it, man. You sit there like Darvin Ham needs to get fired. Frank Vogel needs to get fired. Who put them teams together? Them trash-ass teams put together need to get fired. Them guys, they didn't just all of a sudden suck as coaches. People who put them teams together they start packing up their stuff.
Charles Barkley last night on TNT.
Do you agree? Do you disagree?
Oh, well, I get what Charles is saying. I do. And especially in Phoenix. There's something endemic. They built their new practice facility, if they did, over some kind of burial ground. There's something bad luck happening down in the valley. New ownership was, you thought they got rid of Sarver. They get rid of one of the worst dudes in all of sports. You thought they'd have been able to turn over a new leaf, but the hallways are still haunted with sexual harassment and bad jokes and poor team arrangements. I don't know, but if I'm Vogel, I look at it as shot probation. Get out of there, man. You end up with your daughter in the television set if you don't get out of there. There's something going on. So I feel safe there. Darvin Ham, I don't know, man. That's a big bite of apple for a young coach. I mean, I'm not sure he did a bad job. There's some clock management issues and things like that, but sometimes it doesn't matter what you're doing or how you're doing it. It's the environment you're doing it in. And I don't think anybody else could have done a better job given the scenario they were in. But sometimes you just need a new face saying it. And JJ Redick certainly feels like a good face to say it, right?
Yeah. I mean, these are unique situations. I think that Chuck has a fair point. I don't even want to say in a vacuum. I think it is just a fair point. But the reality of the situation, I also understand what you're saying. Like, oh, the Suns just have a lot going on.
Yeah,
but I don't know that I buy that we're at the end of the super team era the way that has been posturized. But the reality is, even if you think that end is coming, it's still not completely here. It's hard to be LeBron James's coach. It's hard to be the head coach of the Suns with KD and Book and Beal and everything. I mean, like, you're gonna be the fall guy. Like that's just the reality of the situation. And so, I'm not trying to say coaching doesn't matter. I'm not trying to say coaching is the end all be all, but it's a unique position. And so I understand the calls for some sort of change, but I also understand that this is just kind of the way it is.
It was the great Greg Popovich, when asked what was the secret to being a Hall of Fame coach, he was like, draft Tim Duncan and hang on for dear life.
That's really, that's kind of what it is. Like,
true words are ever spoken.
It's like, oh no, look, like, are we really shocked that Frank Vogel didn't carry the Suns, or are we, or at the beginning of the playoffs, what was more likely, that Frank Vogel was going to carry the Suns and just
I want you to consider where we are. It's difficult. That's why I appreciate getting to know people that are historians, that look at history and kind of and they try to view modern times through the prism of what has already happened in the past, and see, that old saying, if you don't know it, you're doomed to repeat it. And do you know if you're in the end of a civilization while it's ending? Because when you're watching what's considered a super team now versus what was, and vice versa, think about what the Clippers would have been 5 years ago. The names that are rolling on that roster. I mean, think about what the Lakers were 5 years ago. I mean, the idea of, and even Phoenix with 4 years ago with Book, but with a younger version of all these guys. The problem is the super teams, as we're talking about, are populated with nothing but old dudes. None of them They're not. They're all shadows of themselves if they can even find their way on the court. So super teams are always going to work if they're actually playing.
Well, I mean, I think what you're saying is like, oh, the best teams in the NBA are going to work as long as they have the best players.
Well, I mean,
in the NBA.
to say that it's the end of the super team and then you only need 2, that's a fallacy. I mean, you need 3, you want 4. But the guys that have been gathered together on these super teams, they're all old or decrepit.
I think it's just it's representative of where the NBA is at. Like, how many people? Frank Vogel has taken a lot of heat over the last 3 days now, 2-3 days.
Yeah,
how much heat? How much heat has? I know, but how much heat has there been for Kevin Durant?
I completely agree.
You've seen.
I mean, not nearly enough because he went out and got 40 in the closeout. I mean, you can say, "Well, I did my job."
But okay, in the closeout, but I mean, it's a series. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like, how much heat has there been for Devin Booker? How much heat has there been for Bradley Beal? Like, do you look back on like Frank Vogel as a brilliant mind for all the success he's had? No, like we attribute all the success. There are 2 coaches that tend to get credit as coaches in the NBA. There's Pop and there's Eric Spoelstra.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And I guess Rick Carlisle kind of is in that mold. Other than that, if you are a coach of any other team, you ain't getting anything. Like it's just the players that get all the credit for this and that and the third. And so that's what I'm saying. I'm not quite with Chuck, but I think there's truth to his point about I don't know what's, and even then, okay, even if you say we want to move on from Frank Vogel, okay, for what? Like for who? Who are you? Like what's the like magic fix here that comes in and touches the Suns and makes them, this situation where everything thrives and flourishes all of a sudden?
You have to go ask Book. Well, you have to go ask them, and I feel like that's the only way that's going to be fixed, or you're going to have to get rid of them, or at least most of them, with the new coach. You can't do both. You're either going to have to bow to the whims or get rid of them that have whims.
So if the Sixers lose tonight, is it on Nick Nurse or is it on Embiid?
Oh, man. That is the true existential question that the 76ers are going to have to face, which is a silly question to have to deal with. I heard Legs saying it too. Man, this is Joel Embiid. Everybody just shut up. Everybody just settle down. I mean, he's playing on a leg and a half, and his worst game in the playoffs, he had a triple-double. Everybody just shut up. So, but that being said, Nick Nurse is safe. He is absolutely fine. Nick Nurse is on a mercy mission to Philadelphia.
Okay, so
they better hope they can hold on to Nick Nurse if LA comes calling.
Was Nick Nurse a great coach, or was Kawhi amazing?
No, Nick Nurse is a very good coach.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, where do we draw the line?
No, there is no drawing the line. It is players, like I just said, the best that we've ever seen, if not of all time. Greg Popovich told us the secret to being a Hall of Fame coach is get the best player you can possibly have and hold on to him for your entire career. And if you can manage to do that, you'll probably go to the Hall of Fame, just like your player will. So I agree. It is a players' league 98% of the time. 2% of the time, it is indeed coaches that make the absolute difference. Now, minute differences in individual games, coaches play a huge role. But on the whole, they're about 10% of the equation.
Okay, so, I mean, well, you went from 98 to
well, I'm just saying on a whole, when I'm talking about season, playoffs, timeouts, mistakes, all that, 10% is going to be the coach. They're going to lose some games.
Let's use the 10%. So for anyone, now to Chuck's point, who wants to, move on in LA or Phoenix, you want to diagnose and address 10% of the problem, right? Like that's the fix. Like, again, like I know you're just throwing out numbers and percentages, but like to live in that, if we agree, and I think that's a good number, that this is 90% of the impact, that's what we're going to focus 100% of energy and resources and attention on 10% of the problem.
But I can't fire the players.
I know you can't, but you've got to fix that 90%. That like the idea that the other, 10% is still going to be 10%. You know what I'm saying? Like you could bring in the best 10% that there is, but it can't, it can't raise the other 90% if it's not good enough. Is there a coach in the NBA that if you put them on if you swap out with Frank Vogel to where Like I'm asking you this legitimately. That they beat Minnesota with.
No.
So then, I mean, what are we doing here? Like,
no, there
what's
just
the
wasn't.
question?
Now, I mean, we could argue.
Is there any coach
3
you
out
could
of
put on the
5
Lakers
maybe, but 4 out of 7 there's no way.
where they beat the Nuggets?
Well, the Lakers Nuggets, that's an entire. There is an argument that can be made that
one's a little
couple
different,
of shots difference. This is a much different series,
And
and
they-
that
they
there's
led,
only one
obviously,
team
yeah.
that could have done to the Lakers what the Nuggets did, and it was the Nuggets. I mean, it was just there's only one team in the West that could have possibly inflicted the kind of damage that was done to the Lakers, and they happened to get them in the first round. But if they hadn't, they'd have probably met them in the finals.
Well, but the Lakers also have LeBron James. I mean, so that's also what makes the conversation unique. I think the better case study is the Suns, and you agree there's not a coach in the league that you could have put on that team.
But
And
I'm
so,
also a firm believer that there are times when coaches, despite their best efforts, just need to go. That the players aren't listening. It's kind of part of the job of being a coach is you have a message. That message needs to be understood and acted upon and believed in. And the moment that it's no longer one of those three things, kind of got to go or find another message.
We've established a championship
you get there
program.
on
It's just
that
not the
message,
world
and I'm not going to
championship
change
yet.
my message. I'll go just change the listeners. So it's not when coaches get fired. There should be another term other than fired, like a mutual decision that is in fact truly it. Like, dude, I don't mind leaving. This is no fun for me either. They're not listening to me. They don't like me for whatever reason.
if you were the hottest coach in the NBA right now, you could have your pick of the non-sacred jobs, like you know what I mean,
Of
like
the
you can't have San Antonio.
non-sacreds?
Or the non.
I know
the
what you're saying.
The non-obtainable, right? Like you can't go to San Antonio. Like you can go to the realistic ones or the ones within reach of movement. Where would you go?
That is a good question.
I know.
Thank you. For me, I would go coach in Memphis.
What?
I would love to coach. Seriously, I would love to coach John Morant. I would love to be on the sidelines and find new and exciting ways to make John Morant a Superman. All I would do is dream all night long of ways that I can unleash some of the things that Ja could do. But that's one. Or there's the other thing. If I truly wanted to show my prowess, I think that Orlando is primed for greatness. If I was given 5 years and allowed to just keep a core, find my four dudes.
You can't be given 5 years. You don't know
3
you're
years.
given 5 years.
Give me 3 years.
But you still don't know. Still don't know if you're given 3 years.
I'd take Orlando overall because there's so many pieces there, and if the right guy walks in, you could truly create something special. I believe that. If you can hold on to what you got, augment with a couple of veterans, Orlando is primed to do something that is really cool. They got 3 or 4 guys that are legitimate all NBA types.
Let me specify.
Just not quite old enough.
All right, let me close the parameters a bit here. So you're the guy, you're the name. Everyone wants a piece of Rob. Man, Rob, please show up with that flowery bag of yours and put it in our cooler. All right, we really want you around here. All right, every day. You can have the Phoenix job or the Milwaukee job. Which one do you want?
Milwaukee.
Why?
Well, they've already got a ring. They know how to do it. I have the greatest.
You don't. You weren't there.
I get Dame. I get Giannis. I feel like if I can keep them healthy,
you get Book and KD.
Yeah.
And Beal.
Mm-hmm.
What a horrible situation.
No, you're right. Devin Booker is exactly who I think he is, and he ain't an alpha. He's a beta. Kevin Durant is also a beta. He thinks he's an alpha, and that's the worst kind of beta to have. Isn't a beta that thinks he's an alpha. At least Book just steps into the void when there's a void available to him. He doesn't ever go take anything, but if there's something available to him, he'll go get 40. Kevin Durant will go get 40, but he'll give up 50, and he'll take other guys out of the game. And while I love him, he's a cheat code. He's no longer what he was. I don't want to have to deal with that. I would much rather take the other side of guys that are Dame's an alpha and will act as if and is an alpha, and Giannis too. And I would love to go take that job. I'll take Milwaukee.
Phoenix or Philly if it comes available.
Geez, that both of those are terrible jobs. Philly. I'll take Philly.
They're not terrible. You need to redefine the word terrible.
Well, and terrible in that
terrible
Phoenix,
is
I think
Memphis.
that they deal with indifference down in Phoenix to the extent that you only have absolute lovers and absolute haters. There's no kind of in the middle there in Phoenix. There's a lot going on. A lot of people from other places.
Philly, you only have haters.
Right.
Who loves you in Philly?
So but I know going in that, best case, but I also have, there's a fair amount of talent there, and it ain't as difficult in the East to go where I want to go than it is in the West.
I think that the Phoenix job is underrated.
I
think it's over.
I value what you're
overhated.
saying. I do. But right now, do you really want to go deal with all this?
Dude, do you know, like, the way you're describing a situation with a solid roster? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're poo-pooing this like it's this,
no money and like 8 spots to fill. They subtracted even more money when they upped Grayson Allen's percentage here. So they got 4 dudes, and that's it. They can't afford anything else. They are the worst case scenario, and 2 of them can't stay healthy.
So I don't think they're the worst case scenario.
Well, I'm talking about you're paying Bradley Beal and Grayson Allen, Kevin Durant, a whole bunch of money.
I know, but if you like to use the Philly example, you ride with the dude who has proven 100% of the time that he will wear down and gas out, and you won't be able to do anything when it matters the most.
But I don't need to worry about him as much anymore because I see a Tyrese Maxey who is transcending into something really special. And then I look on the bench, and there's some talent on this team. Buddy Hield, that guy is underutilized and should be doing better. I think I could bring something more to the table with this guy. What's the other big that they run around out there with? Harrington. There's other guys that are being overshadowed that if I was coaching, I go, you know what? I think the problem is I'm expecting Embiid to do too much. I need to take some stuff off his plate.
Back to the point at hand. If you swapped Frank Vogel out with Nick Nurse right now, tonight,
I think you could. You know what? Now this is where we're getting, and I appreciate this part. I think if you took Darvin Ham and put him in Phoenix, and you put Vogel back in LA, both would be much better off because they're both of them are not terrible coaches. The circumstances are awful, and I think both of them might be suited for the other's job.
But do you think if I don't know if you're going to pick the Sixers tonight or not. I don't know if you want to say that now, but I'm not. I'm going to pick the Knicks tonight. And to be clear, I wouldn't pick the Sixers with Frank Vogel as coach if we could swap them out. But would your opinion of them change at all?
No.
Would it worsen? Would it weaken?
No. It would be exactly the same.
Is Frank Vogel the problem in Phoenix?
No. I kept saying he is not the problem, but he is an issue. The players don't like him. Bradley Beal wouldn't even shake his hand when he ran off the court. It's your fault, my fault, nobody's fault. I can't fire Beal. I still got to write him checks. So, again, Darvin Ham walks in the door, and you go, well, okay, different idea, same quality of coach. Vogel walks back into a place he's familiar with. We ran you out of here before, but you're back with the same plan with different dudes. So let's try this again. That's the problem with the NBA, and I do see a shift coming with the idea of these younger players that are showing up, like J.J. Redick, who's getting the run. He's interviewed in Charlotte, and I think it's a worthy idea given where we are now. Because when I'm spending $60 million a year on a guy, I kind of got to listen to what he has to say about who coaches him. I just don't have any other way. I'm tied into this guy for literally almost $1 billion over the next several years. I'm going to listen to who he wants to have coach him.
That's not unfair. I mean, so I agree with that to an extent, but I think there's, and I don't know that you disagree, but I think there's merit to what Chuck is saying. Like, I think there's merit specifically to the point of like just jumping on Frank Vogel and like, he's the problem. Like, if it weren't for Frank Vogel, and I know we keep using him as the example, but like, and could the coaching situation be better? Sure. But I think you could say that about a lot of things individually across all sectors of life.
I think
to act like he is weighing them down is absurd.
I think we've got a great way to close this down. And I think the prime example of all this is Missoula up in Boston. Because last year, and from the moment he took over, basically, There have been all kinds of questions like, dude, you are underwater. I mean, this seems to be bigger than you. And Brad Stevens, the current basketball front office suit of the year, stuck with him. I mean, last year was embarrassing. The year before that wasn't awful, but it was not the best situation. And you could have easily said goodbye to Missoula, especially last year, easily. And they stuck with him. And what we saw last night was a team transition into something different. They spanked Miami for a couple of years worth of embarrassment. They sent Miami home limping. And it was on purpose. We are going to unleash whoop ass because we got to put you out of our brain. And Missoula needed to do it too. He needed to coach Spoelstra into vacation. And he did. Now, granted, Spoelstra did it without his best dudes, but he still did it. And I think that was worthy. And, and when you say things like that, you go, man, don't let Darvin Ham go, man. Think about what this place would have been without him.
See, I mean, and sometimes you're just the guy before the guy. You know what I mean? And there's no shame in that either. You're the transitional guy. Mm-hmm. That was a necessary part of the overall process. But I mean, I found the conversation we've been having to be enlightening in that. I took what Chuck said somewhat. I mean, well, I took it seriously, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, there's truth to what he's saying, that some people just jump down these throats like this is the magic fix, right? Like this, and I just don't know that that's necessarily true. I think the Boston example is a good one. You know what I mean? But also, I think Tatum is a more, like, to live in that example, stable piece to coach around.
All of it matures. Everybody matures together.
It all ultimately depends on the situation and the players and the person who, to your point, you're handing $1 billion of equity to. And, that more than anything, that just proves how Jason Tatum's in a league of his own.
What polo do you have on today? That's the Super Bowl one. That's the you're wearing the Houston comeback.
Super Bowl 51 in Houston.
You're a polo aficionado. You have lots of golf polos. That's one of the things you're into. You have a Tiger Woods polo yet?
The new one?
Well, his new brand. Do you have his new?
I don't have his.
What's
new
the name
one
of his brand?
It's called Sun Day. Two different words.
Is Sun spelled S-U-N or S-O-N?
S-U-N.
Okay.
Sunday Red.
There's a dash in there. Why?
No, there's no dash. But they're two different words.
Sun Day Red. SDR.
Yes. SDR.
You don't have one of those?
No.
Where can you get them?
I don't know if it's like sundayred.com, but I think they have a website.
Are they? Is it a cost-effective purchase? Is it worthy of attention, or do I have to be a member of Augusta to afford it?
You have to sign something in blood. You have to
I'm gonna look at
sign up for 1 million email subscriptions, and you have to pay a lot of money.
I saw him. He's running around he was running around all the TV things yesterday,
doing the circuit,
hawking his
pushing the brand,
hawking his rags, selling his clothes. We'll talk about it. Coming up, Will McClay, also a very well-dressed professional, joined the Blitz yesterday and spoke on a myriad of subjects. One of them was his brand new RB1. He also talked about who he likes to draft and why. It's those underdeveloped or underrated players he likes so much. A lot from Will in a short amount of time, and it's just around the corner. You're going to enjoy this. Will, you don't get to hear much from the guy who goes and gets all the talent. Jason and Joe had him yesterday and asked all the questions that we were so eager to hear, like, why didn't you draft a running back? That's coming up. Hang here. This is the Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio Sports Star.
Spring has sprung and it's full tilt boogie time at GiveMeTheVin.com. I'm a speculator. I'm overpaying for cars because I think they're going to go up even higher from where they are right now. We'll pay off your payoff. We'll pick your stuff up. We'll quote you quick and easy at GiveMeTheVin.com. America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
George gets justice. If you've been injured, get George, because George gets justice. With over 100 years of combined experience and a relentless dedication to your case, the attorneys at George Salinas Injury Lawyers will fight for what's right. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, get George and get the compensation you deserve. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-5407. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-5407. That's 800-575-5407. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Get ready for the ultimate pop culture experience at the Ace Superhero Comic-Con presented by Thomas J. Henry. Join us June 20th through the 23rd as we welcome Hawkeye's Jeremy Renner, Andor's Diego Luna, and many more stars. Plus, capture a free selfie and autograph with 10 of the celebrities in the free autograph zone. Indulge in our free play arcade, explore Vendor Village, and rock out to daily concerts. Don't miss out. Get your event passes now at bmxevents.com.
Grand Slam, Bomb, Went Yard, Long Ball, Dinger. Do you even know what I'm talking about, Nigel? Croquet. Nigel, I'm talking about baseball. Courtroom plumbing and air conditioning is a lot like a baseball team. Should we wear cups, Joe? When a person has plumbing problems or their air conditioner just isn't cooling right, they can rely on our team to make the big plays. We hit it out of the park every time. Call Quarter Moon Plumbing and Air Conditioning, day or night, 651-5899.
Joe, should I start singing now? Take me out. License number M16004.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-2706. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-2706. That's 800-575-2706. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
San Antonio's sports star. You're riding with Rob and RJ. This is the Morning Huddle.
Hey, who wants to have some fun? He does. That's RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson. Thanks for sitting in with us on the Morning Huddle. And for them that are in the morning crew, and for them that are probably sitting at a long stoplight right now, don't mind the brake lights ahead of you. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Zero in on me because I got some tickets to give away. Are you a fan of Interpol? Not the police organization, but the band, RJ.
I guess.
I don't know who they are.
Who are they?
I honestly don't know. But when every time I bring it up, people go, "You got Interpol tickets?"
I just Googled most famous Interpol song. The Interpol's 10 best songs.
Let's see, there's 10 of them. Well, they're coming to the Boeing Center in California, and I've got a pair of tickets. And if you want to go see Interpol and all that they offer in the best new venue in all of San Antonio, and I'm not even sure we can call them new anymore, but one of the best mid-sized venues you're going to find anywhere. A great easy in, easy out. I'm a big fan of the Techport, and I'm a big fan of people going south of 90 to enjoy themselves. There's stuff going on down there, believe me. I'm from there. So go see Interpol. Get on the phone right now. 656-3776. 656 ESPN. Caller number 6 is going to go see Interpol on us. That's what we do here. Another reason to listen all day, every day. I got Country Wayne tickets to give away. And if you have to ask, then you probably shouldn't wait on it because there's a lot of people who do want to go. And we're going to give those away in the 9 o'clock hour. I'd say about an hour and a half from this very second. Will McClay did his annual, which I've forgotten he does this annually, but RJ reminded me yesterday, his annual post-draft car wash where you talk to all the important people like Joe and Jason. I like Will McClay, but I'll tell you what, over the years, he has fine-tuned his
media game.
His media game is savvy, man. He's smooth in and out. He could run for office if he chose to. He really is under appreciated for the value that has on a franchise. He's not going to say anything stupid.
He's really, really, really important. There's no question about it. He's really, really good at his job. He deserves a lot of kudos and deserves a lot of praise. And he said some really cool things yesterday.
Let's start with the elephants in the room, and then we'll work our way through. Why, Will, did you not draft a running back? Was the question directly out of Jason's mouth? Or that joke? Well, anyway, here we go.
Well, it's not like we didn't want to draft one, but every player and has a value, and we grade players by round definition, expectations. We go into it essentially saying which players are going to be starters, can be a starter by year 2 or 3, be a good backup, be player 48 to 53. So they all fit into a certain category based on our grade by position, and we don't want to force anything. We're not the draft board is put up based on players and not based on specific positions. And so as you go through that process, you assign these values for guys, and if it doesn't work or fit at the time of your pick, because there's 31 other teams picking to try and fill their needs too, and so you go through it, and if you don't fill it, you fill it in free agency by Royce Freeman having the opportunity to get Zeke back. So we felt like that if we didn't address it in the draft, we had a plan to address it.
We have another plan. There's a third stringer. If he can get off work on some Sundays, he'll be available. That was Will McClay posted. He should have just said, Jerry won't let me draft the running back. They told me they had other plans.
When do you think the Cowboys signed Royce Freeman? What day? Well,
long enough for Will to remember his name. Was it? It was prior to the draft. It wasn't a long time before. It was a week before, the day before.
The draft began on April the 25th. It was a week ago tomorrow, obviously, or today actually.
Oh, that's right.
And they signed Royce Freeman on April the 16th. Yeah. So, Will, I'm not trying to be rude here, but I don't believe a word you said.
No.
I just.
But he was skillful at avoiding the fact that he was under orders. You ain't drafting no running back. We got that covered. Go find us some offensive linemen. Now, my question to you, I want to get into some more sound that it was really good. And some of the reasons why we love him so is where I want to go. Well, who was the best draft pick in your mind for him? Where was the
Cooper
goal?
Beebe.
Which
Cooper
one?
Beebe.
It was Beebe,
Cooper
right?
Beebe. And especially because that was the selection that they picked up in the trade down with Detroit in the first round. So they picked up 73 for moving down from 24 to 29. And then with it, they drafted Cooper Beebe. There was, a lot of discussion about Cooper Beebe making sense at 56, their second round pick. They didn't take him there. And so to draft Cooper Beebe and to get him at 73 was incredible value. He fills an incredible need. He's an incredible player. I mean, it's an A+. There's no question whatsoever about it.
These are his thoughts on the new Beebe.
It's something that we talk about. We talk about game started experience, who they've played against. It all goes in the mix of telling the story about the player and then projecting the upside, how they fit, where they'll grow, how long it'll take them, all that stuff. So it's all a part of the process and information that's valuable. And it's the 10,000 hours theory. The more that you've played, the more that you've seen, the more that you've reacted to, and the better served you are for getting into situations that, that you've seen before and you'll know how to react to.
Will McClay, speaking of the what many consider the diamond in the rough of the Cowboys draft, and we've said it many times that not only do they have a good eye for linemen, Mike McCarthy is a good offensive lineman head coach. That his lines always perform. He understands. He's a regular, and when the season begins, he'll be with us every Friday morning. He talks about the ballet, the cohesion that the offensive line has to have. And he's so mad at the union because he just can't get his offensive line to get enough work. And the line shows that is really a point of really great pride and emphasis with McCarthy wherever he's been.
He's had a lot of success. There's no doubt about it. Obviously, coaching up the offensive line. And generally, the Cowboys are just giving him all these like top 100 picks.
That helps.
Generally, he's had to kind of work with some dudes a little bit, further down the quality line. But so it's exciting to see what Cooper Beebe offers, obviously. And so that was great. But it would have been awesome if later in that third round, the Cowboys had drafted a running back.
I was reading the breakdown of this Notre Dame linebacker. Are people liking him more or less the more we get a look at him?
He is the biggest reach of all the picks. He's the one who doesn't present enormous value relative to where they picked. Now, they took him at 87, and that was their final pick on Friday night in the third round. And they didn't have a fourth-round pick on Saturday to start the day. So it was pretty obvious that whoever they were going to pick was going to be somebody who they felt was not going to be available to them, because they had to wait so long on Saturday to start. So it was, natural to assume that it was going to be some sort of reach. But if I told you right now, if I gave you a magic wand, you're Harry Potter all of a sudden, bet. All right. You can have Maris Leafau, or you can wave your wand and you can go take a running back there. Now that you know that the plan is Zeke through and through.
Oh, no question, RJ. There's no hesitation that it would be a wide receiver. Well, of course I'd get a running back. What do you mean? They were crazy. They were stupid. They were short-sighted. And everything you've said is right. It was just, I'm not mad at the Zeke thing. I get it all. But they're incapable of multitasking. They can't do both. There's no way you could have signed Zeke and we could have had a good time with the fact that he's home and drafted a running back. You couldn't have just done that for me. I don't
think that multitasking multitasking isn't the right way to put it. It's that they want it to be the Zeke show. You know what I'm saying?
I'm still gonna refuse to believe that, RJ. I'm holding on to just these few threads of belief that there's some form of basic intelligence up there that will say, you know what, you're right. We're not gonna win or do anything successful offensively with no threat at running back. We don't need a great one, but we need one. Not three things. We need one. But we don't even have that.
Look, Rob, here's the thing. The Cowboys have loved and laughed and cried, and they've had their fill and certainly their share of losing. But as the kind of tears and everything sort of subside, I find it also amusing to think that, and I may say not in a shy way, that they're doing it their way. You know what I mean? Those are the lyrics from the great Frank Sinatra's My Way, and that's how they want to do this. You could be holding on to. I don't think those are threads of logic, because they're not living in that world.
I keep trying to do what my daddy always told me not to do. Don't try to make sense out of nonsense.
That's what I'm saying. This is Sinatra style. It is their way. They want. You've played a lot of Madden. You know how sometimes you're playing a game against the computer and you're I have to get my quarterback 300 passing yards. I have to get my running back 100 rushing yards. and whatever. And you're trying to get your quarterback to a certain whatever, and you're throwing interceptions left and right because you're just forcing it, because you're trying to do it that way. That's what they're doing here, dude. They can't go inside till they head to swish. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes those things make sense, but they could have, Rob, as it relates to the running back position specifically, it was so glaringly spotlight level obvious that the draft class was shallow at the position.
Mm-hmm.
We saw every other NFL team understand that, and therefore everybody was like, "Oh, the running back position must be back. That's why they're all getting paid in free agency." No, they're all getting paid in free
because
agency
they looked down the road and said,
because there's a shortage of the position in the draft, so that the teams don't want to be left without an option. So that's why Devin Singletary got some money, and that's why Austin Eckler got some money, because those teams didn't want to be shy when the draft was done.
What do you say to those?
The Cowboys said, we're good, and knew they weren't going to draft anybody, but they threw us a bone and a bright, shiny object in Jonathan Brooks and had us convinced they were going to do it. They were never going to do it. What you think? Everybody was like, there are people here. I'm sorry. I know you had a question.
No,
we're
going the right way.
Nothing that really grinds my gears like the national media when they take some of the Jerry things seriously. So Jerry was asked on Thursday night last week about Jonathan Brooks, and he said, "Oh, in my 30 years, I've never, never had an interview as great as that, whatever." And do I think that saying stuff like that is smart or cool or whatever? No, but I'm not going to go out of my way to give Jerry Jones the benefit of the doubt on anything. But in no way do I believe, and I don't know if you do, that he was like their primary target.
No, there was no plan. He was strategizing. He was throwing them off
completely. Yeah, I completely believe that he was an option for them, to be clear. But I do not believe that he's just that dumb that he couldn't help himself and he just told the whole world about his number one target. But there are people, these national media talking heads, that are like, man, Jerry just couldn't help himself, and that made the Panthers jump up and and get him and listen. That's like, come on, man. They said that so that this whole Zeke thing, if they're covering anything up, it's the Zeke thing being so obvious. Well, and Rob, he switched his number to 15. It was the most predictable thing in the world.
Oh, poor Trey Lance. I can just feel Jerry walking off after he talked up Jonathan Brooks and just I outsmarted him, boy. Did you hear me? Did you hear him? They bought that hook, line and sinker. They think we're all in on Jonathan Brooks. Wait till they get a load of what we're drafting. They're going to forget all about everything else when they see this offensive lineman that we've got zeroed in on.
Everybody thought they were going to take Jonathan Brooks in the second round. They took a pass rusher. Again, I will give them. And then
it wasn't a bad pick. I'm not mad at it.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like, these people out of both sides of their mouth, they say like, "Oh man, he gave away the plan," but they're really good at drafting. I do think they're really good at drafting, and I've said that many times.
They are,
and I think that they're kind of good at covering things up that they want to cover up. In this case, I don't think they wanted to cover the Zeke thing up. If they let their lips be loose about anything, it was their infatuation for Zeke that had been rekindled. But they knew that there was no threat to nobody was going to be like, oh my gosh, they want to sign Zeke. Let's go sign Zeke right now. We have to get Zeke off the open market right this second. No, they knew they had Zeke. They wanted to do this.
When that Jonathan Brooks came limping into my office, when he came crutching into my office, I never had a better interview in my whole life with that one-legged running back.
If they had drafted, and that goes back to the Will McClay question. Will McClay question. That's difficult to say. But the Will McClay question was, why didn't you draft a running back? The answer, and you parsed through it, but the answer is, because then we wouldn't have been able to have brought Zeke back in a world where he would have been the primary running back. That's the answer.
And his barely adequate psycho defenses couldn't stand it. There might be one guy that's really happy to see Zeke, and that's his old best friend, Dak. Dak was at a flag football game, some kind of powder puff. I don't know what the hell's going on, but he was doing something.
They all do a Reliant Energy home run derby every year.
I thought it was a powder puff football game.
And here's the thing, by the way. It's generally like the faces of the Cowboys. Like it's
it's a big deal.
It's like the high school football players who get to go speak at the pep rally. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be like one of the top dudes to get to be a part of this thing, like a notable Pro Bowl or whatever. Zeke was there. Zeke was a part of it.
There he was. Dak talked about his once and now current best friend.
Yeah, super excited. Just obviously knowing our history, my experience with him as a brother, but in this case as a teammate, understanding what he brings to the team, just the locker room alone, the culture he sets. A guy that does everything the right way, from the locker room to the field. He's a great guy that with us having a young team, bring guys in, people can follow and watch. Excited for him to be back. Know the threat that he's going to provide. Big-time playmaker, obviously, I'm excited.
You get the sense that the place was just boring without him. Like, everybody's like, Zeke's back? All right.
This is
Thursday's going to be so much better.
It's going to be so cool, Rob. Corey and Topanga, their daughter, check this out. She's the one in school now, and she's going to the same high school that and Mr. Feeney is going to be her teacher. The same way the show is going to be
I hope
awesome.
we have the same lunch.
Rob, oh my gosh, and check it out. The show is called Fuller House, and DJ is the head of it, and it's her children, and Stephanie's going to be there. I don't know about Michelle because of the Olsen twin stuff, but Uncle Jesse's going to stop by. He's going to teach them all about the Rippers. Like, it's going to be awesome. We're going to get to relive the show.
The gang's back together.
I mean, come on. Like,
I don't know why you're so upset. I think what you owe yourself.
I'm actually not
upset. This is what I want you to do. I want you to take this break and go put on your Sunday best if you've got it. Can you do that for me? And if you don't have your Sunday best, we'll tell you where to get it and how much it costs. Tiger Woods got a brand new line of clothes, and you have to be a member of Augusta just to afford them. We'll look at the stuff he got and whether you want to wear it. Coming up, this is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on the Blitz, we're going to step into the boxing ring with Mario Barrios. He will join us at 2:15.
Yeah, but we're not fighting. He is, though, on Saturday night on the Canelo Alvarez undercard as he defends his title. Mario Barrios at 2:15. Plus, we'll talk with John McClain from HoustonTexans.com at 5:15.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyer4us.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyer4us.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyer4us.com.
If you can't sleep because of annoying knee pain, that's a problem. If you stop running because your feet always hurt, that's a problem. If your elbow, shoulder, and neck pain make it impossible for you to do your job, that is a problem. And it's time to finally do something about it. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. No medications, no injections. Arasti treatment is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, we accept most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Some people just know the more you protect, the more you save with Allstate, because they know insurance math. Like if you protect your home and auto, Allstate can save you up to 25%. So it's like losing money if you don't bundle. Save more when you protect more. Bundle home and auto with Allstate today.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum savings off the home policy. Allstate State Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is Jim Rome. Join me weekdays at noon on my new home, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, welcome back. This Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. Hope your Thursday started out appropriately well and it improves with every second you're with us. We've got a few here. We got a full couple hours headed your way, and you don't want to miss any of it. I've got Country Wayne tickets to give away in the 9 o'clock hour. We're looking directly at tonight. We got some closeout possibilities, though. I tell you this, we will see all 4 teams play again. We're going to talk about the NBA on the other side. But before we go there, Tiger Woods got a brand new line of gear, and he was in the car wash yesterday trying to sell his wares. In the modern digital era, I don't know about your feed, but you're a golf guy. You get into the golf algorithms and you get all kinds of stuff in your feeds that, cool polos by these other companies that make different stuff. And you have access to these kind of curated small houses of clothing, and you'd think clothes would be cheaper now, but they're not. It just is so expensive to get the cool stuff. And Tiger knows that we're kind of getting used to spending $100 on a golf polo, but that's just kind of the normal now. But even he has taken things a little too far, I think.
Yeah. Tiger has a hoodie that is $200.
A good hoodie, though.
Well, he'll wear it sometime, maybe. So, that's why you should buy it.
It's that Super Bowl. You're wearing the Houston Super Bowl, but I recall really Travis Kelce was first really becoming a thing right when Pat Mahomes became the starter. He was Travis and Pat Mahomes kind of came up together. I mean, Travis a little bit older. He was here with the Alex Smith years, but when I first knew who Travis Kelce was the year before that Super Bowl. Really started paying attention to him, and he showed up on Media Row, and he was dressed literally in head to toe in this brand known as Supreme. Had Supreme jeans on, had the Supreme jean jacket, Supreme pants, the Supreme shoes, Supreme hat, had it all on. And I went home, I told my kids, I was like, I saw him in that. And they took me to a shoe store and they showed me what a Supreme hoodie cost. I had a whole new distaste and respect all at the same time. A $500 gray hoodie.
Who doesn't want that?
I looked fabulous in it. I only got 2 of them. On the other side, we're looking. we're talking NBA. Are the Celtics the ones to beat? We'll talk about it.
This is the Morning Huddle with Robin RJ. Okay, get hurt, rise and shine. Morning 6 to 10, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
2 things are needed for a growing sense of gratitude in your life. Recognize the good things that come into your life and then acknowledge it. Open your eyes to the possibility, and it is possible, of a good coming into your life, and then say thank you out loud or in a note or in a prayer. Not only will you grow in your use of words like thank you or I appreciate you, but you will work against ingratitude. And everyone needs to work against ingratitude because of the way it shrinks your heart. At one level, ingratitude is a kind of blindness to the positive moments and experiences in life. At another level, beneath ingratitude is a perceived accusation, intended or not. The accusation goes like this: it could have been better, or it wasn't that great. Either way, it's a hard way to live and it hardens our heart. So go into each day ready to recognize and acknowledge the good. And you might start the practice of ending each conversation with the words, I appreciate you. This is Mark Absher with the MacArthur Park Church of Christ. Visit our church.org. The MacArthur Park Church of Christ, connecting God and people.
Texas weather this time of year means storms, wind, rain, and hail. You know, if you were hit with the recent storms and you think you have roof damage, don't make the situation worse by putting your faith in one of those out-of-town storm chasers. Work with a local roofing company with years of experience. Work with a company whose people live in our area and deal with the same weather we do. That's Stevens Roofing, 210-785-0994. Or you can get them online at stevensroofing.net. Buy local, stay local, trust local with Stevens Roofing.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Have you gotten your hands on Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at HEB yet? Southern Recipe small batch offers big, bold flavors like hot honey, spicy dill, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Bonus, you're going to love the low-carb, high-protein crunch. Turn snack time from ordinary to extraordinary with flavorful pork rinds. Pick up your favorite flavors of Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at HEB today.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 210-615-7777 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Are you looking for a job where you can have a ton of fun and make great money? Then Twin Peaks is the team you need. They're looking for Twin Peaks girls, cooks, bussers, barbacks, and more. Text work for TP to 85000 to apply. That's 85000 to apply. Twin Peaks.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text CASH to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text CASH to 42424. That's CASH to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
San Antonio's Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
In the NBA, the Boston Celtics were gentlemanly in the sweep. They took down the Heat in Miami in a convincing manner, 118-84. The Mavericks took out the Clippers pretty easily at the Crypto, 123-93. No Kawhi in that game. Take a commanding 3-2 lead. Tonight we have two closeouts. Bucks and Pacers. Can the Pacers do it? And can the Knicks put down the Sixers in Philly?
How good you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Hey, gather around. We got a bunch to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle. Look very closely at RJ Ochoa on your device, and you'll see the sun rising beautifully over his right shoulder. As the beautiful Thursday begins, we call it Small Friday here on the Morning Huddle. I'm Rob Thompson. I'm buttoned up tight, and on the other side of the double pane glass, we got our resident maverick, Easy E, Edwin Hafner. Welcome aboard, everybody. We're glad you're here. 2 hours in the box. If you missed it, where the hell you been? You can go catch up at the Audio Vault. Brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds, and it's sasportstar.com. Watch us live and directly, and you can see the sunrise like I do through my prism of RJ Ochoa. Not through the window of which I look through, but through yours.
Rob,
I hope the sun is warming your neck and pointing you in the direction of a day.
It is. I wanted to ask you something.
Yes.
That I waited specifically for this hour until, because that's just what I felt like doing.
Okay.
What's the most upset you've ever been about missing out on food? Because
there's one story. I have just one, the most upset.
Okay, so just to kind of put you in it's a two-part thing to set you up. Yesterday, my wife picked up some food for lunch from a local establishment, and they did the forgot to put something in there.
Oh, okay.
Move. Oh, dude, I was so mad.
You get screwed in the drive-through, man.
Yeah. So, but I asked this for a reason besides that, but that's kind of what led me to think this. But so what is your story about the most upset you've ever been, like along these lines of missing out on food or something?
All right. So for those who have been listening for a moment, I am a foodie. One of my it is indeed my abiding passion, cooking it, eating it. I like to find interesting and new things to eat.
Touching it with your feet.
So, you know what? I've had the great benefit of traveling around with you and many of the Blitz guys and over the years. And one of my great things is finding restaurants to kind of, to tempt and to confuse Jason Minix and you and others. I like to find places wherever we're going to eat, whether it be the chase for the perfect bowl of gumbo or whatever it might be, or clam chowder along the California coast or wherever it might be. And you've been a part of these searches. We went to Phoenix for the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And there is a restaurant in Phoenix well regarded as the best pizza in all of the United States. It's known as Pizzeria Bianco, excuse me. And the guy originated the margarita pizza began with this cat. And he trucks in the water from New York. He brings the ground flour from the city, and he creates these pizza creations that are, people fly in, much like I did, to go eat. So we're there at the Super Bowl. You'd think they wouldn't be busy. But strangely enough, they were very busy. We attempted twice to go eat there and never couldn't. The waits were too long, just not enough time in the day. The very next week, like within weeks of our attempt, Jason Minix had to go back to Phoenix. Went back to Phoenix for one of the many Metallica concerts that he is evidently forced to attend, and got right in and flew home and brought me a 24-hour-old piece of pizza that even at that age was spectacular, but I never got to eat it hot.
Wow.
Sad.
So, well, first of all, Jason makes a habit of going back to the Super Bowl site like immediately.
He does,
after.
man. He goes back and
wasn't he in Vegas like the next?
Yeah,
week
you see when he scouts it out and he sees the real busy places, then he goes right back and attacks them. Yeah.
So I asked this because I'm kind of like you're a foodie. I'm a noted Survivor fan, and so it's Thursday morning, which means it's the morning after this week's episode of Survivor. And so last night, there was a reward challenge. They're deep in. They were at the final 8. So I mean, they've been on this island for a while.
Yeah, I've noticed. I've got like 12 episodes recorded.
So
don't give away anything.
I don't want to. Actually, I won't spoil
anything.
But sometimes the reward, there's reward challenges, right? Like, the winner that gets peanut butter and jelly, and you get to pick people to share with, whatever. Sometimes they're legit reward challenges, right? Like sometimes you get to go like take a bath or whatever. This one was a foray into what they call the Sanctuary, and it was sponsored by Applebee's. All right. So if you won this challenge, if you won this challenge, you got to go to the Sanctuary and you got to eat like everything from the Applebee's menu, and have a big old margarita and all this. It was a big time deal, and so the challenge is played out, and one person wins it, and typically, and I'm sure you're aware of this, you get to pick a few people to go with you, right? So like
to create alliances and whatnot.
Well, that's the genesis of Survivors. It's the greatest social experiment on television, right? Like this is part of that, right? Like you get to see the fallout of picking one person over another. So this one person had not really eaten a lot throughout this point in the game because they have allergies, so they can't really eat like coconuts and stuff like that. So they're particularly hungry relative to everybody else.
I think they knew that before they signed up for this.
Yeah, I mean it's this person's fault, to be very clear. But so they're legitimately begging. Like I've watched a lot of Survivor. It is not often that people will be like, Rob, please pick me, man. But like everybody wants to be picked.
I'm gonna die out here.
Yeah, like nobody's actually doing this. But this person doesn't get picked, and was kind of emotional. And Jeff Probst says, "Hey, person, can you, do you want to talk to us about how you're feeling? Because that's his job." Right?
Blackbird, I didn't want to say that out loud.
Let me pull the emotion out. And this person freaked out. I mean, like legit tirade over not being chosen. Like screamed.
I would have too.
At the
I
top
look
of
like
their
Luca.
lungs. I mean, like just went off. I mean, like one of the most like upset ways I've ever seen a human being become because they missed out on Applebee's. So
Well, that's about. Well, I won't get in there. A fine restaurant, Applebee's. Was that last night?
It was last night.
You just spoiled it. I'm not. Now I'm never going to watch it. Just, I literally have not seen Survivor since the naked dude won it. And I think that would be like 1994.
Wow.
3. Which is crazy that show's been on as long as it has.
Well,
it's literally been on all of your adult life.
It's been over 20 years, yeah.
Well, yeah, well over. I remember the first season. It was a bit of a cultural phenomenon. It was new and exciting, but it was born out of what my mind was the greatest TV show ever made, the greatest live show ever made. It was born out of an adventure racing show that Jeff Probst, the greatest race or something like that.
The Amazing Race.
No, not
is
that
still
one.
on.
Not this one. This one was adventure racing where they would go find, like, you'd have to go rush through the jungles of Borneo, and you just meet us at this checkpoint 80 miles down the jungle kind of stuff.
Wow.
And
I love the Amazing Race.
Yeah, it was born out of that, and I wish they would bring that kind of stuff back. That's the kind of stuff that brought me in. This other, you get to go eat at Applebee's.
Turd Ferguson with the actual spoiler on last night's episode of Survivor, but
well, you can't give that away, but evidently that's a big deal.
But yeah, it was kind of an amazing. Applebee's got more than the money's worth. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like, they obviously paid money to like do this and for the promotion, but this person was like, again, I'm trying to think of like the most mad I've ever seen you be or Jason be when you're around or somebody, like, to kind of contextualize it for you. I can't. Like this was like RJ over the course of the entire Dallas Cowboys offseason level of upset, amplified with like Houston Rockets fandom missing out on Victor Wembanyama.
Or LeBron stomping his feet the other night.
Or then like multiplied by LeBron being upset at J.R. Smith in game 1 of the finals. Like it was that level of upset. I mean, it's really difficult to put into perspective.
I was I get that we get this thing out on the daily. It's like a sports information kind of a digest that they send out. That's a data download. Do you have yours in front of you? Did you know today is the anniversary of the last game Lou Gehrig played?
I did not know that. Wow.
Like, he took himself out of the lineup today, back in like 1932 or whatever it might have been. And finished up like all those games way back when. Just put the day in perspective. May the 2nd.
May the 2nd.
We're almost there. There's May the 3rd. And then sadly, for the first time in 5 years, I won't be able to come onto air and say the words. I'm not going to say it now. But
why not?
Originally back in 1976, I was the first one to think of that on that date. When I woke up that morning when I was in 6th grade and went, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
I know we all joke about Tyler Badass, but like just so you know.
I thought of it first.
I know.
I mean, I know that, but seriously.
Seriously.
It happened right here first.
Nothing that upsets me almost as much as Liz missing out on Applebee's. So
it's like the Cowboys defense.
I hate everything.
We were going to talk some basketball. I still want to. Coming back, let's look around the NBA. Boston Celtics made a statement last night, but we do have one question. Can the Celtics continue minus a unicorn? And what to expect from the Pacers tonight? We're looking closely at the league. Hold on tight. It's right around the bend. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. The Connecticut water softener that I have in my home is a point of great pride. In fact, yesterday, Oh, no, it was the day before yesterday. I was out and about. Somebody asked me about the water softeners. They were moving out to my neighborhood, and they saw me at the grocery store and said, hey, I think we might be giving them a call. Thanks for bringing it up. And I would congratulate you for doing that. See, the Kniff has been taking care of San Antonio for a long time. Whether you're on the aquifer or on a well, you're not going to do any better than a Connecticut water softener for a lot of reasons. First and foremost, you don't even plug that thing in. I don't know how it works. They call it kinetic energy. I don't know what that means, but it absolutely has saved me salt and saved my pipes. You don't have to worry about all the stuff that I talk about every day, that white stuff on your plates. If you got that, your water softener ain't doing its job. And I hate to think what's in your pipes if you've got that. Think about the stuff that didn't make it through. That's the reason you want a Connecticut, because it's not about what you see. It's about the stuff you don't see as well. Like you don't see the powder on your skin. You don't have the stuff in your pipes, and you don't have that stuff in your body. That's why you get a Connecticut. Designed and manufactured in the United States. Award-winning on top of that, you can get one in your home for 90 days without one penny out of your pocket. The only thing you got to do is call 656 Pure. The Connecticut water softener folks will come out and put one in your home, and you're going to find out what so many of us know. It's the last water softener you're ever going to own. You want more details? You should. Go to ConnecticutSA.com for all the deets. Sing it while you type it. Get yourself a Connecticut, and I know you're going to be thanking me later.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, we're going to step into the boxing ring with Mario Barrios. He will join us at 2:15.
Yeah, but we're not fighting. He is, though, on Saturday night on the Canelo Alvarez undercard as he defends his title. Mario Barrios at 2:15. Plus, we'll talk with John McClain from HoustonTexans.com at 5:15.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Train heating and cooling systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collisions since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you are a family member and needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Moments like my daughter telling me a new joke mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Experience the Kentucky Derby weekend at Retama Park in Selma, Texas on May 3rd and 4th. Join us for the biggest pre-Derby party on Friday and the main event on Saturday. Enjoy drinks, delicious food, and thrilling races. Don't miss this chance to celebrate the Derby tradition with us.
This is Andrew Monaco, and you're listening to the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Thanks, Andrew. It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. We're glad you're with us. That is RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson. He manages the editing of Blogging the Boys, and it's been a busy couple of weeks in that talent has been acquired. We'll talk some more Cowboys in a minute as Zeke's got a new number. What's the future of Trey Lance now that he's wearing 19 and has no fifth-year option to fall back on? All those questions will be answered in just a couple of minutes. Hold on tight. Last night, we saw the Boston Celtics assert their will on a, shorthanded, to say the least, Miami Heat team. Though they were in Miami, and South Beach has taken its own share of upsets under its belts. But Boston took care of business. They're going home, and they're going to rest for a minute. But Kristaps Porzingis is dealing with a calf injury, the likes of which that has kept Giannis out of the game for a week or so. And Kristaps isn't the key performer, but he does play a role in a different kind of Celtic team than we've seen in the past. He matters, and now they won't have him, at least initially, or at least we won't know. And that's the kind of injury that lingers, as we've seen with Giannis.
Oh no. How will they beat the Cavs or the Magic without Kristaps?
That's just it. So he's got a good week and a half to get well. I don't think that they're I will say this, that Cleveland is huge. And Orlando is too. They're both very big teams. They're lining up several 7-footers out there. But and Kristaps would at least occupy one of those defenders. But they're going to need him fully functioning, and even fully functioning isn't highly athletic for him, but they're going to need him fully if they're going to play against the likes of Denver or in my mind, possibly Minnesota.
I mean, I've got my fears that the second round is going to be really boring. Outside of Nuggets Wolves. That's going to be awesome. And then the other 3 series are going to stink.
That was put to bed last night. The other game, Luka, he's sick. He's not feeling well. Beware of the sick golfer wearing his Sunday best, and beware of Luka when he's not feeling well and heavily bandaged, wrapped, taped, compression.
There's a very popular meme template with Patrick from SpongeBob. I know you're very familiar. Just kind of like 5% of his body is visible outside of bandages, and that's what it seems like Luka's got going on.
Because there were different colors involved. It was very apparent. You know what I mean? He's got one black thing over here and a white thing over here and a black thing on a leg and a white thing on the other thing and all of this stuff. And you can tell he's all kind of bound up and still got him 35 points. And what has not been a spectacularly efficient a couple of games for Luka. He's putting the buckets up, and Kyrie has still got the biggest ego of any human being I've ever been around. I've been around athletes for 25 years. Kyrie has the single largest ego of any human being other than, was one other guy I know with a bigger ego. And he has now, those two are functioning in the appropriate manner. Kyrie has really learned to play off of Luka. And for a guy to kind of dial what he can do back to do this, I'm going to give a guy credit that I normally don't give credit to. But Kyrie in a secondary role was fabulous last night.
Yeah, I mean, the Mavs are finding themselves. They really are. I mean, if we assume they win, and I think that's probably fair at this point, I mean, Mavs or Thunder. Like, I don't think you have to, talk yourself. It doesn't take a lot to talk yourself into, the Mavs upsetting them. I don't even know that it's an upset right now.
Thrones on this. I want to play Game of Thrones as the San Antonio Spurs. I want Dallas and Oklahoma City to pick a fight amongst each other. I want those two to begin a hated rivalry.
Like a real one?
Like a real, there's militias going back and forth over. No, I'm talking about. I want them those two to learn to despise each other, because I get the sense that Luka and Kyrie are going to, when they get past, and they're going to get past the Clips, they're going to take Oklahoma City to 7. I'm not sure they can beat them, but they're going to beat them up.
I mean, and then we're going to get Mavs.
Oh, it'll
Nuggets.
be over by that point.
Yeah.
No, I'm telling you, whoever comes out of the other knife fight that will be Minneapolis, the Timberwolves and the Nugs, which is going to be a Foreman Ali battle.
It's gonna be the best series of the playoffs.
Yeah, and so whoever
unless
comes
we
out
get
of that
Nuggets Celtics
is going to need a bit of a break to win a title, because it appears Boston's going to skate for the next couple of weeks. It doesn't look like they're going to be overly challenged, though. They still got to overcome the bugaboo of playing down to their talent. And it looks like the 76ers and the Knicks are just going to beat each other's punch drunk, whoever goes. Sixers are limping, and the Knicks only play 7 guys. They just don't play enough guys to stay fresh. So I think that they're going to be limping in. But both teams are going to get a little bit of a break, one early, one late. The Celtics are going to get it'll take 5 games. Cleveland will get 1. And then by the time they're facing Milwaukee, Philadelphia, whoever it ends up, it won't, or the Knicks, I'm sorry. I don't think it'll really matter. And on the other side of it, by the time then whoever wins this second round series, the finals are going to need to be a skate for the title to be what we hope it to be.
Right. I mean, I think the easiest path left is for Boston, right? I mean, just cruise through Cleveland, Orlando, whoever winds up winning. That the toughest path left is, I think, probably for maybe not Dallas, but probably who do you think wins the New York Philly series?
Well, that's where we're headed tonight, right? Okay, so we've got the owner of the Sixers concerned about what he's witnessed in previous home games, bought up 2,000 tickets to ensure that at least a modicum of home field will play there in the Sixers arena. It's going to be really hard for the Knicks to go into Philadelphia and win this game. I think the Knicks are going to play the long game here. They're going to give it the old college try, but if it ain't there, I think they're going to hope that the magic of the Garden will pay off in Game 7.
I think that's foolish. I think you
no,
go
I
try
think
to close
that what
out.
I'm saying is they got to go in for it. I just don't think they can. They're going to have to take the Garden is going to have to be the 6th man for them to get this done, because Philly got a taste of blood and they escaped death. They quite frankly grabbed out of the jaws of defeat. Maxey from a big logo, but a logo nonetheless. Really kind of changed the mentality, and now they taste a little bit of blood. I'm not saying it's probable, but it's possible that Philly puts 2 games together, because as magical as Brunson has been, at some point, when we look at the way you defend him, I'm just going to dare OG Anunoby to beat me. I'm sorry. I'm going to dare somebody else to beat me. I'm not going to let Brunson do this to me anymore. And it might take 2 guys, but I'm going to just beat him senseless. I'm just not going to allow Jalen Brunson to get 40. I'm not going to let him get 30. I'm just not. So once they decide to go that route, once Nurse and his Sixers decide, well, this isn't going to be pretty, but we're going to have to do this, then we'll see what the Knicks have, because right now I don't think they got anything else. And it's going to take the Mecca and Jason Hart shooting at home, or Josh Hart shooting at home, as opposed to shooting in Philly. I think we're going to see a Game 7 over the weekend that will be about everything we want.
Look, I know of what I'm about to speak because I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. Okay?
I'm accustomed to gut-wrenching defeats.
That's what I'm saying. When you think it cannot possibly hurt more, when you think it cannot possibly get worse, when you think there's no way you can possibly disappoint yourself or be disappointed in a larger way than has happened to you over the course of your whole life, buddy, buckle up. All right? Because the Sixers are that team. All right? The Sixers win, miraculous as it was, logo justified or not, from Maxey. I mean, you're right. Gave them brand new life. Okay, respect. But they're now in Philadelphia. And the narrative is last time you were in this building, Knicks fans took it over. So everyone is going to allow themselves to become overly juiced tonight, right? To compensate for the fear of Knicks fans taking over, this is going to be a rally, right? Like this is everyone showing up and giving their absolute and total all. And we earned this right to come back to Philly. You got to come through here. This is the scene. Like this is the red wedding. Like this is exactly where we are. This is where the heartbreak happens. I mean, and of course you would be in Philadelphia where Josh Hart and Brunson and DiVincenzo all hailed and thrived and dominated at a different level. I mean, this is the room where it happens. A shout out to Hamilton. I mean, this is going to be a devastating loss for the Sixers tonight.
Eagerly
no doubt in
awaiting
my
word.
mind. And after Michael Rubin bought 2,000 tickets, and I think it's very cool to be very clear here that he's handing them out to is it first responders? I mean, that is awesome. But it just is such a bad look for your fans that you have to buy 2,000 tickets. I mean, what is the capacity of the arena? Do you know?
I would imagine probably about 20 to 20.
So okay, so I think that's a fair guess. Yeah. So you had to buy 10% of the tickets. You know what I'm saying? Like that is such a weak thing. You are really tempting the sports gods, Michael Rubin. You know what I mean? You're trying to rig the game, and and that never works out. I mean, you're about to become the 2 seed that loses to a 7 for the first time in NFL history.
Tonight, the Bucks are again attempt to stave off elimination. They have to go into Indianapolis to do it, and we're eagerly awaiting word. Though the thought is they're not going to have Dame or Giannis. Certainly not Dame, but no Giannis with that calf that continues to bother. But it is do or die. I wonder how much do you lean in on an 80% Giannis?
Well, now I think you have to.
I mean, do you ask him to come in at less than your best? I mean, I that calf is the kind of thing that it could feel good. We've had Doc Garrett talk about this calf more than once, and it's one of those things that you never really know whether it's completely back until you go out and test it, because it'll lie to you, it'll fool you thinking that it's fine, and then just like those hammy types that just can't get over a bad hamstring, that calf injury just seems to linger. But there is no recourse. The Pacers, packed it in against Milwaukee. I don't expect Bobby Portis's 29 points to travel to the Pacers, but that is a team that has been there and done that. And Middleton has been there and done that. Lopez has been there and done that. Connaughton's been there and done that. So there is enough, but can they fool them with that, junk defenses and different offenses one more time? I just don't think they can.
I think you have to play Giannis. If he's at 80%, that's the threshold for me. If he's there, you do it. This is do or die. You have to try.
It's an opportunity for Halliburton to, keep up with the Joneses, as that group of nexts in the NBA all seem to be performing quite well. Can he hang with the likes of Anthony Edwards as part of the next crew? We will see tonight as we continue with our NBA coverage. Hey, coming back, Dak Prescott and Brandon Cooks were out at a ceremonial, but a star-studded, it was a baseball thing. I keep calling it football, but it has nothing to do with football.
It was a baseball home run derby.
Derby. He was out there. Both he and Mr. Cooks spoke to their team, spoke about their players, and spoke to you, so you might as well listen to it. He'll be next. Let's talk some Cowboys and hear from their quarterback, at least their current quarterback, next. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Did you wake up this morning in pain? Was there something right now that's keeping you out of life? If there is, what are you doing? There's a fix. It's called Arasti. Call them today. See, Arasti providers are all around San Antonio with one goal in mind, one abiding mission, and that's to get you out of pain. See, Arasti is a certification. Medical professionals come and get an Arasti certification to better help you, their patients. So how they do it is really the key here, because it's not about medication to hide the pain. It's not about surgery. It's about your body fixing itself. And I can tell you personally, it has worked for me. I've had lower back issues most most of my adult life. I stumbled in there about 6 years ago for the first time, and I have been an ongoing patient since. It's not just about the pain, it's about keeping you out of pain, and they taught me that too. I now know the triggers. When it's coming, I can get myself out, and when it does seize hold, I go and see them, and man, they get me back in the game quicker than I ever did before. I am a firm believer. I might almost 100% of Arossi patients would happily recommend Arossi to their friends and family. I recommend it to you today. Call them today. You don't need a referral. It's 1-800-404-6050. I'll say it again. You don't need a referral. You can call them right now, and they'll take most of your insurances as well. Listen close. Don't let pain keep you from doing things that you love. Rossi's there. They'll fix you. Call them today, and you can thank me later.
94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Get the last water softener you'll ever own and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656 Pure Kinetico.
Visit KineticoSA.com.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks, with everything from tequila cocktails to extensive bourbon categories that you will not believe. Their top shelf spirits and cocktails served over those icy balls cannot be matched. Twin Peaks has you covered. And don't forget about the 29-degree man-sized drafts.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting rules for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
Guys, let's get real about your hair loss. How long have you been wearing a hat, hiding thinning hair, or a rapidly growing bald spot? Just stop it. You're not a 12-year-old little leaguer, you're a grown man. It's time to take action. Let the hat go and get your real hair back permanently with Bosley. You heard that right. Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration experts, can give you your real hair back permanently. And right now, Bosley is giving away an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card to everyone that texts MORE to 200-300. Plus, text right now and get a link to this month's incredible deals. Join the millions of people who come to Bosley and see just how awesome your hair could look. Text MORE to 200-300 for your absolutely free information kit and a free $250 gift card off, plus a special link to incredible deals. Text MORE to 200-300 now. Text MORE to 200-300.
Gomez Law Firm has been taking care of the people of San Antonio for almost 50 years, the leader in personal injury law. Jose, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
We do ride-sharing cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Jason Minix here from the Blitz with the NBA playoffs here. You want to get in on the action and have fun watching the games the way I do? Make sure you download the Underdog Fantasy app and start playing their pick'em game, where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build a pick'em entry. Select higher or lower on player stats. If your picks hit, you could win up to 100 times your money. Endless projections to choose from. You create your own experience. It's a ton of fun to play. I love winning on the pick'em game, obviously. It is fantasy, but legal in Texas. So get signed up at UnderdogFantasy.com or download the Underdog Fantasy app. Use my promo code STAR when you sign up, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they'll give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, promo code STAR when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com. Good morning, everybody. Jason Minix here from the Blitz. We start at 2 o'clock today, as always, and at 2:15, El Azteca Mario Barrios is going to join us from Las Vegas as he gets ready to defend his WBC welterweight title on that Saturday night on the Canelo undercard. Plus, we'll talk Texans with John McClain at 5:15. Rob, I see your bobbleheads are back, but collection looks a little light. Did you lose some during the move?
No, I don't believe so. They're arranged in a different manner. I changed the shelving, but I do think we need some levels. Don't you see, RJ, as we look at this pile of bobbleheads? I think we need to level up, like maybe over here, maybe kind of bring it up a little bit and put some hedges and maybe a water thing right here.
What if I told you that I thought that was a horrible idea?
Well, you wouldn't be the first. That's what I'd tell you. That's RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson, and this is the Morning Huddle. The current, if not future, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys was hitting home runs yesterday with a bunch of luminaries. Evidently, Dez was there too.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Cowboys socialite thing. Every year, it's the Reliant Home Run Derby that they do. Raise a lot of money. I think they raised over $100,000 last night.
Did you get your invite? Mine must have been stuck in the mailroom. I didn't get the invite.
I did not. Do you know who won the Home Run Derby? Who would you guess?
Jerry. I don't know.
It was Brian Anger,
the punter.
Yeah.
Well, those guys are supposed to be athletes. Supposed to be anyway.
And Brandon Aubrey, the kicker, was there because again, it's the kind of visible players on the team. So obviously Zeke was there because he's RB1. But Brandon Aubrey mentioned that he had an appendectomy this offseason and said it took him 6 weeks to kind of get healed.
Man, his head coach went back to work the next day.
That's what I was about to say. Like, I had an appendectomy, an emergency appendectomy when I was 13. And I was out for a little bit, but I don't know that it was 6 weeks. I mean, so.
I went and saw you too 4 days. 4 days after. Yes, sir. If you want something bad enough, you'll go do it. The home run derby, they had a little break in time and got a chance to talk with Dak. Dak talked about his contract and CeeDee Lamb and the offseason work that goes into these two all-pro kind of guys.
Not necessarily. Obviously, still conversations. Aware of what Jerry said and everything he said is dead on. Communication has been back and forth. But yeah, you see them growing together. Not necessarily. Don't think. I know he's not in town right now, but we will get in. Trust me. We're roommates all July. If that's the case, I'll be fine. So no worries on that, guys. I know what he's doing. I know how he's preparing. I know where he is. I know where he was there before and how he came back. So all confidence in the way that he's prepared and what he's doing and how he's going
to. Sam Williams committing some kind of turnover in the background, but Dak Prescott talking amongst the crowd about his wide receiver. He's out of town right now, evidently.
Yeah, he's out of town. He's not holding out. You know what I mean? He's just out of town.
Just not anywhere near the camp nor us. Is that significant? Seriously. I mean, you just said it, like all the faces of the Cowboys are out at Reliant, and the guy that's due a fair amount of money, or at least expects some, wasn't.
I think it's a smaller deal than I thought him missing voluntary workouts was, and I thought that was a small deal, to be clear. So
me too.
Again, it's a non-zero thing because of generally the fact that the people involved are the faces of the organization. I mean, but we're talking like 0.01%. You know what I mean? Like just the most basic non-zero measurable here. But I'm more concerned with the fact that Zeke was there as a prominent member of the team. He was trotted out as if he's the starting running back. And look, I'm not trying to say this, in an aggressive way, but I think that you owe me an apology for being.
I'm not wrong yet. And for those that are just joining us, I stand by the premise that though perceived and maybe even expected to be RB1, I put it to you that Zeke will not lead the team in carries next year. And it might be just only because he's old and got hurt. I put it more likely that they are still actively searching, that they're going to go find somebody else, that this ain't the answer.
I'm fine if you say this and qualify it with, I recognize, this is how I want you to say this statement in your own words. I recognize.
You want your words to become my words?
Right.
Okay.
You can verbalize it how you want. I, Rob Thompson, recognize that what I'm saying holds no legitimacy in terms of objective fact. I recognize that what I'm saying flies in the face of the logic that we currently occupy ourselves within.
Currently being the actionable word there. Currently.
Right. I recognize that what
See,
I'm
I'm looking
saying
into the future.
is giving this team that doesn't deserve it an enormous benefit of the doubt.
I see.
But I'm going to do it nonetheless.
I'm playing chess, baby.
You're not playing
Three-dimensional
chess. You're playing the game that Adam Scott's character made up in Parks and Rec.
Well,
like whatever
I
it was
hate
called.
to admit I might be wrong. Will McClay was asked that very thing. The guy that's in charge of acquiring talent. Jason and Joe had him on yesterday and asked the question, is Zeke your starting running back?
The NFL now is running back by committee. There is no one back that carries the load for teams anymore. So that designation for Zeke being RB1 is well deserved because he is RB1, but we're going to do it by committee. And, we've got a stable of backs that Mike and Shadi will find a way to use them to the best of their abilities and help us in the run game and the passing game.
Now, I take a little bit of solace in this. That was Will McClay talking about his running back acquirements. That you're right. Will told you he's RB1. But he also said the other guys, which doesn't lend a lot of.
If you want what Will said translated, I got you.
Okay. Well,
you
got no
be
talent
Jason,
in the room right now, and Zeke is just a meager upgrade.
You be Jason and Joe, and I'll be Will. Ask me if he's the starter. In your best Jason impression. Here we go.
In my best, Jason.
Yeah, you're Jason.
Minix.
I'm Will.
Oh, I'm not very good at that. Will, why didn't is Zeke your running back?
I don't know if that was an impression. Yes, he is. We have nobody else to compete with him by design. We're not going to bring in anybody else to compete with him, obviously by design. I don't want to tell you that he's unquestionably our running back because it's a silly thing to do in the year 2024. I'm not even sure if I really want to do it, but, well, we all know. My hands are tied. So, yeah, he's the starting running back. This is me pretending that I believe this is the best possible thing that we can do as an organization. And, yeah, go boys.
I didn't buy it.
Buy into us.
I mean,
I'm sorry, I didn't buy it.
They really believe that this is the best thing possible. Like I would respect it more if they knew that this was like a con. You know what I mean? But they really believe that this is the best way to do this, which is the alarming thing.
I'm not going to try to make any further sense of this. Des Bryant was there.
Mm-hmm.
Would you? I guess has Des reached a point in his life where he is capable of disseminating good advice? Where you go, that guy knows of what he speaks, especially when he speaks of the missteps, right? And has he reached that level where we can look back and he goes, "Man, I wouldn't do that because I did it and it was wrong." Like Prime hit it. I mean, everybody has to hit that level, and Dion hit it and he moved on.
I will 100% listen when Des speaks.
Okay. Well, Des spoke to all of those incoming rookies with a bit of advice.
I want to say congratulations. You deserve it. It's your moment. I got some advice for you. As soon as you can understand rookie is just a title, it's showtime. You know, Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, Will McClay, those guys drafted you for a reason. They need you to contribute right now. You know, so when you get in that locker room, make sure you find them vets. Make sure you find them all-stars, them superstars, them playmakers, Michael Parsons, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs. Go find those guys. Go ask them questions. Trust me, them great ones. You know, I got a question for you, too. What are your plans? What are your plans on, making sure the city can count on you? We love our football. Welcome to the Dallas Cowboys.
Des Bryant speaking to the rookie class of 24. He's reached a level where I you know what? I think that.
Do you know how long ago he was drafted?
My gosh.
It will freak you out.
No, I don't. 2008, 9?
Not quite. It was 2010.
10? Okay. 14 years.
Think about. I like to do this. So that was 14 years ago. Okay. 14 years ago, and that feels like yesterday. 14 years ago in 2010 was 1996. If you had asked me how long ago 1996 was in 2010, I'd be like, oh, that's like 25 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Versus 2010 right now feels like 5 minutes ago.
What advice, the real advice that Des should be giving? That's the TV advice. That's the advice that goes out amongst real fans and the kids. Eat your vegetables, stay away from the drugs, work hard, be good. But what's the advice that is Des like, hey, man, all right, These are the clubs without recording devices.
I wouldn't. I would just say that the real advice would be get paid when you can, and don't apologize to anyone for that.
Trust
Look after
Jerry.
yourself.
Keep this number. He has this guy. He calls him the Wolf. And anything that happens, you dial this number. He'll make videotapes disappear. He can fix a lot of stuff. Guys taking pictures of cheerleaders. He can hide that stuff for years. Keep the Wolf number handy. That's the advice that Des needs to be given. You come into Dallas, this is a different set of rules here. You can get to do as long as you're winning, you can do some good stuff. But keep this number handy.
Who's your Wolf, Rob?
You. That's why I'm in the position I'm in today. Hey, we're going.
I've gotten some calls from you that kind of definitely live along those lines. I'll say that.
Well, you've been the fixer in a lot of different ways. So, yes, you are indeed the fixer that is required up there in Dallas.
Wow. Okay. Well,
is there any other? I want to break this out. What other advice would you expect from a former Dallas Cowboy, the likes of Des Bryant? Well, the kind of advice that he would be giving to the players on like this is the place
I
you go.
legitimately think there's value in learning what fame is like. If you're a Cowboys, if you're a Cowboys superstar, it is very different for you than if you're a Jaguar superstar or a Saints superstar or whoever. And I think, honestly, the advice, and I think this expands to every player who's ever played for the Cowboys, not just Dez, but I think what would be helpful is advice on how to deal with life after the Cowboys. Because you go from everybody caring about every single thing you do every second of every day to just nothing, relatively speaking. And that would be, I imagine, a very difficult transition to make.
And, Jerry has always been very welcoming to former players, especially those that he's held in the closest of good graces. And, you go to the Star at any given time and you'll see several different generations of Cowboys walking the floors. This will be 30-year Cowboys and 10-year Cowboys and 20-year Cowboys just kind of walking around. And Dez has always remained part of that. And he was always just, the most controversial of sorts. But the real advice, the real Dallas Cowboy news. And I think you make a valid point that coming to Dallas, I'd almost expect, I want to have Dez there. I want guys that were there during the craziest of all years to talk about what it's going to be like as a Cowboy if you're winning. When you're winning, this is coming your direction. And these are the pratfalls and the pitfalls that are coming because there's no other team in the world that can highlight. Yeah, Michael Irvin, that advice is coming.
Something just, again, along these lines, I'm thinking about Dez's career now. Again, I mentioned I like to look at time in a weird way. Consider that the Cowboys drought is massive, right? Like, duh, like we're breaking news. But I mentioned the difference between now and 2010, the difference between 2010 and 1996. The gap between Dez and the drought, Dez's drafting, is the same as Dez's drafting and now.
Yep.
Isn't that wild to consider? Like when Dez was drafted, the drought was really old. And we've lived just as much time since just that moment.
Hope springs eternal. It certainly does. Hey, word out of Kansas City is they might want to build themselves a dome stadium in the state of Kansas. What an interesting thought that would be. Also, Buffalo, they got them a stadium with no dome. If you were building a new one, would you put a dome on it just to get a Super Bowl, or do you want that home field advantage? We'll look at the strategy of the stadium around the corner. Coming up on the other side just after 9 o'clock. I promised them they're coming your way. Country Wayne tickets. He's a stand-up comedian. He'll be at the Aztec real soon if you want him to stay around with us, coming around the bend. We're talking stadiums, the pretty kind that bring big games. Coming up next. This is 94.1. You're on San Antonio Sports Star.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the NBA playoffs.
Down the middle of the lane, takes it right to the rim and flushes.
KTFM Floorsville.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Ricky, would you like to rap at the Testicle Festival? Can you give me a little rap? You want me to spit a rap? Yeah, I want you to spit a rap. About balls? Yo, Testicle Festival. It's like an extraterrestrial. Widen my eyes when I see them calf fries.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Posters, flyers, signs, and menus for less. Think anything you need to move your business forward. Now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Same-day service available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. And all backed by Staples' Print Perfect guarantee. So it's done right or it's printed again free. Staples, your local print and marketing expert. And 6-1, visit staples.com/print for details.
Okay, guys, we got to put our trays up for takeoff.
Where's Dad?
Oh, he's in the back. We could only get 3 seats together.
Daddy has my pillow.
We'll get it later. Can you not put your feet up, please?
Why aren't we going?
We must be in line for takeoff.
Like security?
Well, that was a different line.
I have to go.
We just sat down.
But I have to go.
The seatbelt sign's on.
Why aren't we moving?
Hey, no kicking.
We're just 15th in line for takeoff.
Son of a...
Don't go there. Go on a real vacation. Go RVing. Learn more at GoRVing.com.
Progressive asks, what do an escaped leopard,
We're live from the zoo where a leopard has escaped.
a growling stomach, an uneaten tuna sandwich, and a backdoor doggy door have in common? They can lead to an unexpected kitchen renovation.
Yeah, hi. Is this the zoo? Your leopard is in my kitchen.
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive for great savings and round-the-clock protection.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-5407. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at tra.com or call 800-575-5407. That's 800-575-5407. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
94.1 FM.
San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
In the NBA, the Boston Celtics dispatched the Miami Heat. They were shorthanded. The Gentleman's Series complete. Celtics await as they rest their unicorn. On the other side of the East, tonight, Milwaukee tries to stave off elimination against the Indianapolis Pacers. Pacers at home. We'll see what happens.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Wembanyama goes behind the back here. Oh! Little sidestep and a jam by Wembanyama.
is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
Hey, gather around. There's much to get into. That's RJ. I'm Rob. We call this show the Morning Huddle. It's so important we start early sometimes. We're glad you're here. We got a small Thursday edition, big Friday around the bend. Tomorrow, Friday, is the Friday before the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby. Remember,
Who's ready?
I'm ready. Well, I mean, always ready. But you know, wasn't that long ago. 2 years ago when the horses kept dying. We kept losing them on the track. It was rough going there for the horse business there for a few. I haven't heard so much about it lately. Tomorrow morning at 8:30, we're going to have our resident expert, Dick Girardi, will join us. We'll help you handicap, get you prepped, and then you can head out and join the Blitz. They're going to be live out at Retama Park. It's going to be a fine weekend. It's going to be the biggest pre-party going on out there at Retama. Starting tomorrow night, the gates are going to open on Saturday. 30 a.m. There'll be mint juleps, oak lilies, heavy hors d'oeuvres, or hors d'oeuvres if you're reading it. They're going to have a hat contest, a derby hat contest. 3 winners are going to walk away with cash. RJ, you're precluded, so don't even put on your fancy Kentucky Derby hat because you can't win. That'll be going on 3 o'clock on Saturday.
This is a
Ever been to the Kentucky Derby?
I never have. Have you?
One time.
How was it?
Extraordinarily huge. It's hard to put into. There's a lot of people there.
What did you eat?
I don't recall. It's more about what I drank. And mint julep, may I say, there are some titles to things that don't really give it the full weight and breadth of what the thing is. Kind of like the flu. You know, you hear the word the flu. Flu isn't a scary enough word for when you have had the flu. That it should be named like Black Death. You know, that the flu isn't scary enough. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Mint julep is not a scary enough word for what a mint julep really is, because it's just gasoline. It is high octane bourbon with, it could be lawn clippings in there. I don't know. But mint julep is not for the faint of heart. You hear that, you think, oh, that's what the ladies are sipping over on the side. No, this is straight bourbon, man. So the mint julep is not an aptly, like when you order, say, an Irish car bomb or a kamikaze, you get a pretty good idea what's coming at you.
Yeah.
Mint julep. You think that's some kind of fruit? No, that's gas, man. It's going to light you up.
That's a great point, actually. Like you said, Irish car bomb or Jaeger bomb. Like the word bomb is in the name, and then when they drop it, you're like, oh, that makes sense. Like you called it a bomb. Like, you know what I mean?
And
or,
it has the appropriate amount of alcohol to explode a second time. You know?
Right. Another kind of really descriptive name, Flaming Dr. Pepper. You know what I mean? Like it's well, the name tells you what you're getting. You know, like, apparently not quite for Rob.
Anybody who's an Aggie of an age, been to a bar called the Ptarmigan, has had a share of and maybe never since. There's the Flaming Dr. Pepper drinks. Is that where you had yours?
Saying is, well, no, but I'll just say this again: those names really represent what you're getting yourself into, right? Like you don't say like, I'll take a Flaming Dr. Pepper and then go, wow, this hit pretty hard. I wasn't expecting that. It's like, well, that's what it's called. What did you say this was called? A mint what?
The mint julep.
So like upon hearing that name, having never had one myself, that sounds really delightful.
It does. You'd think it was something frothy really and maybe green and kind of the melon. Frothy.
I would just think
icy.
Like the kind of light, like a spritz.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like kind of, just like,
it's kerosene.
We're cheersing. You know what I mean? Like it's like a soft clink at that.
No.
Like a clink. Like maybe they drink them at Wimbledon.
Let me tell you, if your grandmother was sitting on the porch drinking mint juleps, she had a loaded gun in her corset.
Wow,
that's a tough lady. That's a tough old broad. It is a tough drink, and you get there for the first time, and they're swilling them like, "Hey, mint julep, want another one?" So I don't even remember after the third race. I mean, it's just all
I want to understand what goes into a mint julep.
There's mint and a little dab, just a touch of julep.
Mint julep is an alcohol. This is Wikipedia, has its own Wikipedia
Well, that's
page.
true then.
Man, this is a really pretty picture. That's like the picture looks really
Yeah, they
soft.
disguise it well.
Yeah, like I would think like this looks really delightful.
Mhm.
Okay. Mint julep.
It's not a bad drink. I'm not telling you, just trying to dissuade you from them, but I'm just warning you that it is a level of strength that you are not going to be expecting.
Consisting primarily of bourbon, sugar, water, crushed or shaved ice, and fresh mint. Rob, this sounds awesome. Like, what are you doing?
I'm
Like,
telling you, it's bourbon. It's straight
It
bourbon.
is.
So you just start drinking straight bourbon with a little bit of sugar to sweeten it up, and you start early and you drink it all day. So by post time, you're seeing hats whether they have them on or not.
It says here it is associated with the American South and the cuisine of the southern United States in general, and the Kentucky Derby in particular.
It is the thing. And
nah, dude, I think you're, no pun intended, you're gassing this up a little bit. I mean, this looks.
This is a brigade. Now, Gilbert Padilla's had himself a couple flaming Dr. Peppers and understands that you can, in fact, catch yourself on fire. That's the danger involved. But anybody who's had a couple of mint juleps, let RJ know that it seems erudite and sophisticated, but it's just a fancy way of drinking straight bourbon all day long. Put a little sugar in it to make it a little bit easier, but it's a fine drink.
Are you going to have any this weekend to celebrate?
I probably will. No, not probably. I absolutely will. I will have one tomorrow. I'm going out to the party out there at Retama. I don't know why anybody else would miss it.
So then what are you complaining about?
I'm not complaining about.
You are complaining.
You asked me if I had been to the Derby, and I said yes. My memory of the Derby, because I can't even remember the horse that won. Honestly, it was.
What do you know? What year you went?
11.
Let's see here. What? Give me a guess on the name.
Honestly, I cannot even tell you the horse that won.
The winning horse's name was Animal Kingdom.
See that?
That ring a bell?
Not well, vague. I mean,
Nero finished second, and third was Mucho Macho Man.
Oh, see, there you go.
So,
I had I didn't have Mucho Macho, and he ruined
Pants
my
on
parlay.
Fire finished ninth. Rob,
and there you have it.
Like yours were.
It is. It's going to be a great weekend. Go out to Retama. The ceremonial beginning of summer. The live meet, I'm sure, is just around the corner. Parimutuel betting all day long. You like the track, they probably have the TV on and numbers to run. So head out to Retama. The boys will be there from 2 to 6, though the party will be going all day long. Saturday, get there early, stay late as the bells start going off early, and get your wraps in. We're going to help you. Dick Girardi is going to be with us tomorrow at 8:30 to help with all of your handicapping needs. And oh, by the way, he knows a fair amount of hoops as well. He's a good friend of the show. Did we see him at the Super Bowl? Did he sit down with us?
I don't think so.
Well, he has in the past. It's white sugar, actually, Pete, that they mix in with the bourbon to create the mint julep.
The drink you're afraid of.
I'm not afraid. It's just fair warning that it's not the light and easy drink that you want to start in the morning. Oh, yeah, I guess you can if you're like Hunter S. Thompson or something like that. But for most of us, that's something you need to start later. It's certainly something that I cannot maintain. Coming around the bend, Will McClay of the Dallas Cowboys spoke to the draft, spoke to the talent, spoke to his offensive line, and spoke to the blitz the entire time. We got a bunch of cuts from Will. You want to hear it as the Spurs, as the Cowboys might have had a slow off season, but Will says that's par for the course. We're talking Cowboys next. Hang around with us. This is 94.1, and you're on San Antonio's Sports Star. The Tri-County Meat Market is my meat market of choice. And when you come up to spring weekends like this, you're going to have to make a couple of trips, because first, you're going to want to get something light. Last night, I went over to my brother's. He had gone to Tri-County earlier, and he got a brand new grill, and he bought the beef fajitas. And I'm going to spend the next 30 seconds describing to you literally the best fajitas you're going to find anywhere in San Antonio. It takes the work out of all of it. You look like a genius when you're there. And once you leave with the tortillas, they've got those too, and everything you need to make whatever kind of fajita you want. That meat has been seasoned absolutely perfectly. The beef and the chicken are spectacular. Look at me, new grillers. You can't screw this up. It is the best meat you can make for your dollar anywhere. Go get yourself some fajita meat this weekend from Tri-County. They got it seasoned. They got it ready for you. Just slap it on the grill, cut it up, and you look like a hero. If it's time for steaks, there's no better place to go. Grab yourself a porterhouse. Get yourself one of those big tomahawks you got to put in the trunk to get home. That's what Tri-County does. Curated starts at Prime. Akaushi, Wagyu, they got it. And if they don't have it, they'll go get it for you. If they don't have it ready for you, they'll cut it for you as well. That's why you go over on Huebner, out on Ralph Fair. A great meal always starts with great meat from Tri-County Meat Market. Head over there today, put some of that good meat on the grill, and I know you're going to be thanking me later.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, we're going to step into the boxing ring with Mario Barrios. He will join us at 2:15.
Yeah, but we're not fighting. He is, though, on Saturday night on the Canelo Alvarez undercard as he defends his title. Mario Barrios at 2:15. Plus, we'll talk with John McClain from HoustonTexans.com at 5:15.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-5407. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-5407. That's 800-575-5407. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Texas weather this time of year means storms, wind, rain, and hail. You know, if you were hit with the recent storms and you think you have roof damage, don't make the situation worse by putting your faith in one of those out-of-town storm chasers. Work with a local roofing company with years of experience. Work with a company whose people live in our area and deal with the same weather we do. That's Stevens Roofing. 210-785-0994. Or you can get them online at stevensroofing.net. Buy local, stay local, trust local with Stevens Roofing.
This is Andrew Monaco, and the Aggies play here. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, I got some tickets to give away. Welcome back to the Morning Huddle. This is Rob Thompson. On the other side of the double pane glass is Easy Edwin Hafner, and he put up on my screen, let's give away some Country Wayne tickets. So, RJ, are you in agreement with the plan?
Yeah.
Good. We have a second, so therefore, let's give these things away. 656-3776-656 ESPN. If you're a fan of Country Wayne, I've got a couple of tickets for him. He's going to be live at our Aztec Theater presenting to you his comedy bits that you've seen on YouTube and on Instagram and a variety of other sources. That's Country Wayne. He's the King of Hearts tour. It's going to be at the Aztec on May the 5th. It's a Live Nation gig. If you don't win them right now, you can go buy them right there. 656-3776. Caller number 5 is going to see Country Wayne on us. And you're going to want to dial a couple times. Get yourself one of those digital dialers. And the caller number 5,005 we'll go see Country Wayne on us. Listen to the Blitz this afternoon. I'm sure they will have tickets as well. We gave away some Interpol tickets earlier.
Interpol backwards is Rob.
Yes.
Retney. Boom.
Lop-Retney.
Lop-Retney, baby.
Pig Latin. I got sidetracked. I wrote something down. I was watching highlights during the break, RJ, Edwin and I were looking at highlights of James Harden in the playoffs, and they showed a graphic of what he did in the first half and what he did in the second half, and it was like 2 points and untied shoe and a lot of missed shots and a terrible second half, and it was an intentional act by the Mavericks. They were doubling him at half court, making him work all first half and getting him tired. The old man got tired. Also watching the Clippers, watching Russell Westbrook, just I don't know what the hell that guy's doing. I don't know. I can't remember the last shot I saw him make, but he doesn't care. But that's Russell. Kawhi sitting and watching. Paul George limping around. Steph Curry sitting at home.
That's like, have you ever done like HelloFresh or Blue Apron
Yes,
or
I have,
anything
as a
like
matter of
these
fact, yes.
pre-made meals? The Clippers are a pre-made meal team. That's all they are. You know what I mean? Like it shows up and everything's in a pretty package, and they hype it up and bill it as like, oh, all you got to do is follow the instructions, and it's all it's all grass fed, and it's all whatever this and that, and you look at the pretty picture. This is what it's supposed to be like, what it's going to look like, and you're going to have this meal. And it's going to be super easy and efficient for you in your busy lifestyle. And then you make it. It's like the most boring, bland food ever, and the portions are too small, and you just kind of hate that you wasted time and money on the whole thing.
in a miserable, sad, and corrupt life, we will carry on. What struck me is, and it's really hitting home. It's hard to grow old and be a part of it, but it's even harder, I think, to be old and watch young guys grow old. And I'm watching the end of this era. As I sit tonight, we're gonna probably Giannis and Dame are going to be probably done tonight.
Wow.
Well, they won't even be playing, but their season will be done. That's one more year that they're going to be there. And Giannis, I think, is past the acme of his career. He's on the downward side. It's hard to imagine, but he is. I mean, you only get 10 years of it, and you're 5 years into his. The transition in all of my favorite sports is really astounding right now. It's unlike a lot of, we're losing everybody on both sides on every sport. Did you see Trout? He's hurt. Trout doesn't have much time left. That's a 10-year dude that now he's just an afterthought.
So are you saying
I'm just saying that it struck me that as we're looking at the Cowboys, I heard Des Bryant. You go, Des Bryant is now old enough to dispense wise advice. And you go, that cat's been through it. Listen to him. And you were talking about, it's been 16 years since we drafted him. And it's been 32 years, whatever, since the Super Bowl. It's been as long since he was drafted as we had won and I started, my gosh. And then you look around the NBA and all the old guys are sitting and watching, and we got another spate that'll be sitting and watching again tonight. The transition is rather significant, that we held on to some stars for a long, long time.
So kind of within that line of thought, I don't know that it's like the answer to like what was the Bucks' best chance is 2021. Like they won the title, right? Like so they achieved it, right? So what was the Lakers' best chance with LeBron? It was 2020. They achieved it, right?
I did it.
What was the Clippers' best chance? Like what was the peak of this?
Lob City. It's been a long time.
I'm talking this version, like Kawhi. When Kawhi finally got there after all the silly stuff.
The first year, because he's been hurt. He has he strung together more than 20 games ever? I mean, without even including rest, just for rest, 20 consecutive health games with some taken out. No, I think the peak was when he first got there. And this year, watching that last night was just brutal. It was hard to watch. I mean, hard to watch what the Clippers are trying to put together with those old dudes. And then Kawhi just kind of yawning on the side.
So his first season was the bubble season. So, we won't hold that against him. But his first full season was, I'm going to use the year that the finals took place, the 2021 season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Played 52 games for the Clippers. Did not play in 2022.
Blew his knee in playoffs.
ACL. Right. Well, he was hurt. Didn't play at all.
Yeah.
Had the ACL. So 2023, last year, played 52 games. So you're talking about, that was his second full opportunity of a season. And this year would be his third full opportunity of a season. 68 games, and the playoffs have been what they have been, obviously. For them. So has it been worth it?
No, it
Clippers
hadn't.
and
This
everything
is
you went
of
through to
all
get
the
here?
teams that need to be blown up. This is the one of all of them. And the sad thing is, Ballmer's stuck because he's opening this brand new building, and he had what he thought were pieces in place to bring in the fandom that will never come. But you know, at least you're going to have to try. And these guys are washed up. He's got a brand new building to open, and not a lot of stuff to put in it. You know, today is the anniversary of Chris Paul beating the Spurs.
Oh. That was if you're talking like Clippers, like that's what you were saying, like Lob City.
That was their ultimate year was that year, I think, with Chris and
Blake and everything.
And Blake, who just retired, to give you an idea how long that's been. That was their best iteration, and we're celebrating that anniversary today. Back in 1994, we're right around the date that David went and got 71.
Yeah. It's so interesting looking back. I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on this Clippers thing because I remember vividly when they signed Kawhi and got Paul George. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't say fearful, but it seemed like, oh man, like this might actually happen. Right? Like the Clippers, when they got Kawhi and Paul George, it felt like they might actually do this. And man, they have underwhelmed. And I actually think the fact that nobody is talking about blowing them up is a symptom of how small they really are. Like if they were having the success or lack of success that they're having as the Lakers, they'd be the talk of the NBA. But nobody really cares. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, whatever. You know,
in the league, you could put off all of the problems. Just say, well, we're built for the playoffs. So you didn't talk about them. And the thought was, even a couple of weeks ago, I looked at them like, if everybody's healthy, if you do have playoff P and you do bring James Harden and Russell can string together a couple of games where the 1-2 is matched with skill, they'll beat anybody. But it's such a pipe dream when you're dealing with old knees and old attitudes. And watching what the Clippers went through last night, they were just pounded into submission. And James Harden was beaten down by the fourth quarter. He couldn't do anything. Russell Westbrook hadn't seen a bucket in a month, and he just continues to fling things up. Paul George is doing all he can on the slow wheels, and Kawhi is sitting on the sideline yawning.
It's the worst loss in Clippers playoff history last night. That's wild. Did you see their failed troll, by the way?
What, via Twitter?
Well, so they had a sign outside the arena that said Dallas to Cancun, which was, hey, we're going to send you to Cancun. And then they had the worst playoff loss in Clippers history.
They were sending them fishing is what the plan was. And
yeah,
go ahead
exactly.
And get
they were like, oh, we're going to beat you. We're going to send you fishing. You're going to Cancun. And then I'll blow up in their face.
And tonight, the Bucks are going to try to stave off elimination one more time. The Pacers seem rather imminent right now, but I think there's a lot of folks that are thinking if the Bucks can manufacture one guy to go do what Portis did, that they play enough defense given this lineup to kind of keep themselves close. But I don't think anybody gives them a better chance. In my prize picks, I'm going the more on Turner on just about everything, and I certainly like the way that Halliburton's been playing as well. I might go the more on assists for Halliburton tonight and points for Miles Turner, because I get the sense that they're going to run by. Just like Miami got home and fell apart, I think Milwaukee is just excited to have prolonged the series just a little bit more.
Who do you think? Do you want to pick games tonight?
I think it's an appropriate time.
Could we get some NBA fast break jams going on here? Because there's 2 games happening tonight. Okay. They're both featuring teams.
Here it is.
Thank you very much, John Tish and Edwin. The Bucks Pacers game tips at 5:30. What are we doing? Like, what?
You know what, RJ? I have learned to truly appreciate it. I really have, because at least it's getting everything going just a little bit earlier. I get a 30-minute reprieve because those night games are killing me.
Okay. So, whatever. But anyway, Bucks in Indiana. The Pacers are 8-point favorites.
I like the Pacers. I like the number. I'm taking the Pacers, the number,
laying the
and
points?
the over.
The money line's minus 325.
Hey, yeah, I like that too.
I'm going to take the Bucks. I'm doing it again. Give
Let
us
me
game
tell you
7.
something. I'm not one to say to backtrack at all, but if Doc Rivers can coach this team on the road and at home without Dame and Giannis and get 2 wins, I'll take back most of what I've said about him over the last couple of
Okay. Well, so you're going Pacers.
I'm going Pacers. Going away.
I'll go first here. Then New York Knicks, the Fighting Knickerbockers, are 3-point dogs on the road in Philadelphia, where 2,000 tickets have been bought by Michael Rubin and Fanatics. Now they have been generously, or are, I guess, apparently being generously handed out to first responders. That being said, I'll take the other underdog. I'll take the Knicks. They're closing this thing out. This is a crush. This is. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I promise you, it will be the most devastating loss that the Sixers have had in our lifetime.
It will be very close if it were to happen, but it's not going to happen. This is going to go to a game 7 in New York, where New York will win it, but it'll be the ghost of Madison Square Garden. Their shooting just does not travel, and they don't have that much to start with. I think there's blood in the water. I think Joel Embiid's going to poke the Sixer fan in the eye, and they're going to go back to Knicks. I like the Sixers, and I think they're going to win it pretty easy.
So we're split on both teams here.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking the Pacers. You're taking the home teams, Pacers and the Sixers. I'm taking the Bucks and the Knicks.
I didn't realize. Yeah, both homes.
Okay. While we're at it, there's one NHL playoff game, and I care about it a lot. The Boston Bruins are on the road looking to close out their series against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Bruins have a 3-2 lead in the series. Leafs are 1.5 point favorites tonight at home in Canada. Who wins and why?
Who's the home team?
the Maple Leafs.
And they're playing Boston?
They're playing the Bruins.
I like Boston on the road.
Let's go!
I mean, it's Canada. America's hat. The Maple Leafs good again?
They've never been good.
Yeah, well, I guess again it's not the proper term because I don't remember speaking of the Maple Leafs in the playoffs at all. I heard Connor McDavid and his squad's doing pretty well. And my good friend, it doesn't matter, the program director in Tampa Bay, I saw where Tampa Bay lost. The Panthers get a win and kind of ended what a lot of people are thinking is the era of the Tampa Bay Lightning are done. That the Goon Squad is all but over. Is that a fair assessment?
It seems that way. Yes.
Well, I'm glad that you could follow up on that. As we scattershoot toward the close of this, we're going to come back on the other side looking at the potential draft picks. There's a new mock out there, and the Spurs had some pretty good fortune in this one. If they have that fortune, the guys they like are not that crazy. We'll look at what the Spurs might be drafting and who you might like. There's a lot of Euros on that, and we have a scouting report that might very well reflect exactly what the Spurs are thinking. That's going to be just on the other side of the break. But as we kind of close down this one, the owner of the Miami Dolphins, did you see this? What's his name? The guy that owns the Dolphins?
Stephen Ross.
Stephen Ross was offered recently to buy not just the Dolphins, but the Dolphins and the F1 facility, which is basically the Hard Rock Stadium and the surrounding area.
They basically build the track around Hard Rock Stadium
and through it too. Don't they even kind of drive through it at some point or are trying to?
The stadium itself is like the paddock,
right?
Like the inside, it's not so that it doesn't feature any like driveway,
but they hold stuff in there and they can drive in and out of it. $11 billion for the whole thing. I want to be the guy that makes that offer. And then I want to be the guy that says it ain't enough because he turned it down.
This week, so the United States is home to 3 Grand Prix in Formula One.
And one less than 100 miles from where we sit right now.
We've got Austin, that's right. Not San Antonio. I know that's a soft spot.
Well, we've drafted Kyle. They're now ours.
And we got Cabela's.
Oh, yeah, we wanted Cabela's.
Anyway.
Bad news, Bernie. You're ours too.
Also, the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Now, the Las Vegas Grand Prix has the like Vegas vibes and energy and whatever. And we were there. Actually, the media party at the Super Bowl was at the facility that the Grand Prix is, like the paddock and everything. And it was cool. But dude, the Miami Grand Prix is like totally different. Like it is more Formula One-y than Las Vegas is.
Very
because
much so.
It fits the vibe, it fits the culture. All the stars come out. I think the point it is on the calendar as well. Like it's this weekend for anyone who's unaware. And the track is so cool how it just, again, the Las Vegas thing is like you get the like Viva, stuff, and it's whatever. But this is, so I could see it obviously it being worth a lot of money.
Well, $11 billion. And now
more.
That it's hard to fathom. And I think you parsed it right. That I think the F1 types felt like Vegas was a little lowbrow. Like, yeah, this is for the American McDonald's types.
Exactly. That's such a great way to put it. Whereas Miami's more international.
Yeah,
and
we're going to get to see all of our favorite sports stars wearing funny spring clothes, hanging around in the paddock.
Would you rather be at the Kentucky Derby this weekend?
Well,
or
it's
the
the
Las
whole
Vegas Grand
thing, and
Prix?
we're going to see the guys. Like, doesn't Brady always take an entire crew where they do the night at the Derby and they fly in, and that's really the de rigueur thing to do. And you're going to see Prescott's going to be. Oh no, he got him a baby. He might be home with the baby, but he has in the past gone and done the double where you do the night before and then head over to Miami on Sunday morning and do yourself the Grand Prix thing.
There will definitely be people who do both. But if you could only do one, where would you go?
The Grand Prix. But if I'm going to do, the problem with the Grand Prix is it's so ritzy. Where I want to be, there is no possible way I could ever get in. I mean, literally, even if I had the money, they wouldn't let me in. And that's why I want it so bad. Kentucky. No, I want to go to F1. I want to stand next to Tom Cruise in the Mercedes paddock and talk with Wolfie, with Toto.
Toto!
Just hang around with Toto and do that kind of stuff. Because I feel like I could do it. I've been watching it enough, and I've seen enough of the Netflix to feel like, give me that headset. I'll tell him what he needs to do.
Tell Lewis I said hi.
Tell him. I'll tell him who gets to be first, who gets to be second. Hey, back off, Lou.
Tell George Russell we don't like him.
Pretty boy.
Tell him. Wow. Whereas, what would you be shouting in Kentucky?
I'd be.
These mint
I'd be
juleps
half
are great.
sloshed on the mint juleps. I wouldn't be able to maintain all the way through. Hey, we're going to look at the Spurs' potential draft pick. The lottery is soon. The Spurs probably will end up with 2 draft picks, 3 overall. We'll look at what Breitzer Report likes: 1 American, 1 international, and 1 guy you never heard of. We'll talk about the draft coming around the bend and where the Spurs may or may not be looking. You're going to want to hear this. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
George gets justice. In life's most challenging moments, getting the right help matters most if you've been injured. Get George at George Salinas Injury Lawyers. With a track record of success and a dedication to their clients, George gets justice. George Salinas Injury Lawyers is not just a law firm. They're your support system. Get George at George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Jason Minix here from the Blitz. With the NBA playoffs here, you want to get in on the action and have fun watching the games the way I do? Make sure you download the Underdog Fantasy app and start playing their pick'em game, where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build a pick'em entry. Select higher or lower on player stats. If your picks hit, you could win up to 100 times your money. Endless projections to choose from. You create your own experience. It's a ton of fun to play. I love winning on the pick'em game. Obviously, it is fantasy but legal in Texas. So get signed up at UnderdogFantasy.com or download the Underdog Fantasy app. Use my promo code STAR when you sign up, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they'll give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, promo code STAR when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com.
94.1. Wake up with the Morning Huddle.
It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. Just the beginning of a full sporting day. Blitz will have what's today? Thursday? Well,
That's
the general.
correct.
John McClain will join him. Did you see the news on Ryan Garcia?
I did. That was wild.
Evidently he tested positive for something just before his last fight, where he looked extraordinary. News to follow on that. Big fight this weekend. Canelo back in business. He'll be in Vegas. Munguia will be on the docket for him. I don't think that'll be too much trouble. And who does the Blitz have on today? Is it Mikey?
I'm not 100% sure.
It's a big fight this week. And it's been a long time since I paid any attention to a fight that really bought into it. This one, I think we're due. I mean, this one, we had one a couple weeks ago, but that wasn't. Anytime Canelo shows up, it'll be worthwhile. Seems stunned into search here. The Bleacher Report dropped their most recent mock draft, and as a Spurs fan looking at a Spurs team with a couple of what will be top 10 picks, this is as interesting a draft as the Spurs have ever been in. I mean, we've had better drafts, obviously, 3 of them for sure, but this one is going to be more important to the future of Wemby than any draft after Tim or David ever was, other than drafting Tim. Right. The sad part of this is it is not a richly talented draft. There's a lot of average guys here, a lot of NBA types, but not. I will tell you, it appears in this draft that there's not one future All-Star. Mario Barrios will be on with the Blitz today. San Antonio zone. But there is not one future All-Star. Now, I'm wrong. There is. There's probably 2. There always is.
Yeah, I mean, there will be at least one.
But by the measure, but by the experts, and they're saying things like GMs are going to get fired over this draft. That this is, since the lottery, since there was anything even like this, there has never been a draft this flat.
Dry.
And there's just not a lot. So you got some reaches that are going to happen, and those are the GMs that are either going to strike gold or they're going to get fired because they passed up on a superstar that nobody saw coming, or at least a star that no one saw coming. Bleacher Report has the Spurs actually being rather successful in the upcoming lottery, ending up with the number 2 pick, which I guess is better than number 1 in that you get to not get the blame if you draft poorly at 1, because there is no consensus 1. And they like a point guard. The European point guard, I can't pronounce his name, Brazil, 6'6", hurt lately, came back to close out his Red Star season with a very adequate game, took a couple of shots. His long-distance shooting's been in question, but, we'll always say we can fix that. But his ball skills are good, and he does something that I think the Spurs are desperate to get, and it's not about Trey Jones. It's about having a guy that can get to the rim with their dribble, and he can do that. But it's going to be
I mean, I know this is about the draft, but that's why, that's why free agency is so important. I mean, the likelihood, like you just said it, like if you had to bet on this draft class featuring an all-star, I assume you would bet that it doesn't happen, right?
No, I would bet that there's not one that's going to happen here. Nothing like the quality of a free agent that you would get. And if you had that same guy in 3 years, I think the free agent you would want to have over anybody that you would draft here in 3 years.
So like, without knowing the exact cost, would you rather go the Trae Young route or the Rob Dillingham route? If you could guarantee Dillingham.
The more I watch the Trae Young tape, and the more I see that in the talk, I'm not sure Trae Young is the guy. I'm not going to say he can't be, but the more I look at the possibilities and the potential that's coming around the bend, Trae Young is not my first. He's the first opportunity, and a bird in the hand. It's hard to say wait, because the waiting is a bad idea most of the time. But the more I look at him, the more I would say I'd rather have the draft pick this year than trade him away, which is what Atlanta would want. And when I see a guy that looks like, what's this guy's name? How do you say it? This is Nikola Topic. When I see a guy like Topic, or I see a guy like Rob Dillingham, which, I've been in on, and he appears to be in the mold of what the Spurs are looking at, guys that can dribble and attack the rim. And both of these guys have it.
I mean, it just seems so boring to me. It would seem like such a failure to just settle for, and Rob Dillingham might be great. And look, to be very clear, it's a lot easier to be Rob Dillingham, a great point guard, with Victor Wembanyama on your team than to be Rob Dillingham, a great point guard somewhere else, right? Like, whoever, it is here is ultimately going to benefit from having Wemby around them, but you just have to try harder than that. You know what I mean? You can't, I don't know. That would feel like such a layup move. And I don't want to do that.
Again, it's going to go after what they're looking at. And I'm looking at an article. This is on Spurs Talk. LJ Ellis wrote it. Been a long time Spurs writer. I trust what he has to say. Rob Dillingham on their big board seems to be number 1. Number 2, Zachary Risacher. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Big guy, long, lean, 6'10", long, big upside, but it'll be a minute before he gets there. Reed Shepherd coming in at 3rd. Both of those Kentucky guards showed up. One's a bucket, one's a shooter. Reed Shepherd comes in at 3. Cody Williams, Jalen's brother, we saw him play for Colorado, long, another weight. Stephen Castle, which probably the best 2 guard and maybe the most upside of anybody coming out of the draft, coming in at 5. It just isn't a position that the Spurs find. Nikola Topic on this list, they have him at 6, though on the Bleacher Report, they have him number 1. And then Alex Sarr, the kid from France that Wemby probably, if he was a voter, would be the guy that he looks at. That's where the Spurs are aiming toward. And when you say boring, yeah, there's going to be a weight there. But I find it interesting that when we look at this big board and then we look at the other draft, it's not big guys. They're looking to replace or to augment 1, 2, or 3 by the draft. And 2 of the 3 look like they're guards, Shepherd, Dillingham, and Topic all are ball handlers. Reed more of a shooter, Dillingham and Topic more of a rim attack with an assist, but more of a swing guard than a full point guard.
And it's weird because, like, what do you want in a point guard? Like, or actually, what do the Spurs need in a point guard? Because you don't need a ball handler, right? Like, you don't need someone like in the most literal sense, right? Because that can be Wemby. But like, so what is the quality? Wemby. That's what I'm saying. Like, what is the quality that is most important to you? Is it shooting?
It is. To me, it's in my perception, if you were asking me what do the Spurs need immediately, it's either going to be a deep threat, but they traded away their deep threat midway through the season. They knew what they had, and they had a guy in McBuckets who's helping another team right now. But when they traded him, they had the guy. So they knew that they needed him before, and they used him appropriately. And Reed Shepherd would be that guy, or they'll also have access if they are, in the top 5 or above, the Tennessee kid, the Dalton Connect. He was probably the most ready of all the draftees. If the Spurs are looking to draft a guy to come in and immediately contribute, though never improve much more than what they've got, it's Dalton Connect. He is the classic curl screen spot up jump shooter that I do think the Spurs need, though they don't want to overdraft. He's probably a 6, 7, or 8 pick, and they probably will be picking higher than that if they only have one. And if they have 2, one of them might be there. It looks to me they're looking for a rim attacking guard, a guy that'll get to the rim, draw fouls, can dribble through and out, which Keldon can get to the rim, but he can't dribble through the rim. And that, when we're facing the modern big man offense, watch what point guards do is they use the rim and the backboard as another pick. They don't necessarily shoot when they get to the rim. They dribble through and find the open player. Keldon can't do that and hadn't been able to do that. Neither can Trey, for that matter. So I think they're looking for that kind of swing 2 guard that can provide a little bit of offense, if that's what they're chasing, or just a dead-eye shooter like Reed Shepherd offers. If that big board is correct.
Yeah, I mean, again, I trust this part of the process. I trust that high in the draft, some level of talent will be available, but these plans, as everything you just outlined, is okay. I'm fine with that. But as a legitimate part of the plan forward, that's where I have a problem with it. I mean, these things, these qualities are more supplemental qualities to what the Spurs need right now. These cannot be the foundational things that you're building upon in the here and now, which is why they need help. I mean, they have to utilize all of their resources to go get it.
I hope that the Toronto Raptors have every bit of good luck possible, maintain that top 5 protected pick, and the Spurs can defer that pick till next year, and then the boring will be limited to just one mid-level lottery pick. That's the ideal. So the Spurs, I think, have used their fair share of good luck in getting Wemby, so we'll see what happens as it comes around the corner. Yesterday, the Dallas Cowboy glitterati all gathered together for a home run fest there at that Globe Life. Where were they? Were they Globe Life?
I think it's the old Globe Life.
So they were across the street.
Yeah.
The other baseball field. The girls' gym. the old gym.
I think it could be. I think it was the old Globe Life. It could be a different park. I actually don't know off the top of my head, but it's not the current Globe Life. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why they even keep the old one, but
yeah, it's kind of interesting. They were out there for a charitable event, and most of the Cowboys notables were there. Brandon Cooks was one of them. While the talk of the town has been Zeke and his return, and by the way, if you haven't heard, he said he would take 21, but once they did not pick up Trey Lance's 5th-year option, evidently that number 15 became much more available. He will wear 15. Trey Lance was given number 19. That you can read into that however you'd like. Brandon Cooks was asked about the other guy that's dealing with contract issues. Brandon talked about CeeDee Lamb. Brandon Cooks' thoughts on the contract right here for his running mate.
Yeah, no, my biggest advice for him is just, keep grinding, which I know he's doing. Stay ready, which I know he's doing. And so when he comes back out, there won't be no step loss. The guy's a freak. He deserves everything that's coming his way. And I hope he gets every single dollar that he can. He's the highest paid receiver in the league because he's the greatest receiver in the league, no doubt.
CeeDee Lamb was notable in his absence as the rest of the Cowboys were there, including Zeke. CeeDee was not there, though. That was probably a scheduling issue more than a pay me before I show up kind of thing.
Maybe. I don't know when this is going to get rectified because we're about to hit the lull. This is the off-season lull where nobody does anything. So if you're expecting change, I would buckle up and wait.
If you can hear through the crowd, and Dak was evidently in the midst of a crowd. He was asked about his contract and CeeDee Lamb and the offseason work that they've been putting in. Listen close.
Not necessarily. Obviously, still conversations. Aware of what Jerry said and everything he said is dead on. Communication has been back and forth. But you see them growing together. Not necessarily. Don't think. I know he's not in town right now, but we will get in. Trust me. We're roommates all July. If that's the case, I'll be fine. So no worries on that, guys. I know what he's doing. I know how he's preparing. I know where he is. I know where he was there before and how he came back. So all confidence in the way that he's prepared and what he's doing and how he's going to.
I feel like the players think he's holding out. The way Dak talked, that's a guy who is willfully not showing up. Like, I ain't going to show till I see some movement.
I think that they're protecting him in how they talk about him, just in the event that that's what it ultimately comes to, so that things, these words can't be used against him or against, the situation in a month or 2 months or whatever the case may be, which is kind of generous of them. Did you see that Ian Rappaport was on Rich Eisen?
Oh, yeah, I did. In fact,
yeah, he was. And I know that we all feel like, our pets' heads are falling off. Whether Ian really disagrees or just, is trying to keep things calm and chill. He feels like this is pretty normal, which is interesting.
I mean, to me, it's a pretty normal offseason. And I know that sounds weird because everybody's losing their damn minds about how they didn't sign anyone. But this is kind of what the Cowboys do. They draft, they develop, they get very good players. They pay them a lot of money, their own players usually, and they don't sign a ton of free agents. Like, yeah, sometimes they will sign like a stopgap guy, like Stephon Gilmore or something like that. But it's like, this year, they're getting Trayvon Diggs back. They don't need a Stephon Gilmore. And look, maybe they might sign someone like that anyway. I'm just saying, like, I don't know how many holes they have as a roster. They just did it in a way that everybody would like to, because you'd like to draft guys, develop them, pay the really good ones, let the ones who are just pretty good go to get overpaid in free agency, replace them with younger guys who are also very good but much cheaper, and then do the cycle all over again. Now, the fact that they didn't have a running back until Zeke signed, like, okay, that's fine. But they also have drafted players that will help make whoever's there as a running back much better, which is some good offensive linemen. So, everybody's losing their minds. And I feel like the fact that the all-in thing came out gives everyone something to, like, hang on to. I just don't know that it's that much different from how the Cowboys usually operate in the offseason. And then they'll pay some of their key players a lot of money. And then some of this will make sense.
Will they?
Probably. I mean, later than they needed to. That's whatever. I did want to get your thoughts on something else. It isn't Cowboys related, but it is NFL related, if you'll allow me.
Go on.
Marvin Harrison Jr. has still not signed a licensing agreement with the NFLPA. So if you're a Cardinals fan, you can't buy his jersey. Can't do anything. This is kind of weird, isn't it? Like it doesn't happen often.
Well, my sense is he probably has an agent who sees an angle and he knows his worth. And
well, good for him. Honestly,
I think that one of the things that has been kind of consistently present with the modern athlete is they know exactly their value, their brand, their name, their number, their jersey. And
what would you do?
I don't know what the parameters are set up for incoming rookies. Like, do you have a standard deal that this is what you get when your jerseys are sold and there's no negotiating? Is he going to pull a Jerry Jones? Like, I don't care what you tell me. I'm putting Nike on the side of my building.
Right.
Is he pulling that?
I don't know, but I would like to understand what you would do if you were a Phoenix native. You lived in the Scottsdale area. Your boys were big time Cardinals fans. They were super excited about this, and one of your sons was having a birthday party, turning, we'll call it 12 years old next Saturday. And said, Dad, the thing I want the most is a Marvin Harrison Jr. Arizona Cardinals jersey. What would you do?
I'd head down to Military Drive and buy one. Wherever, I'd go to the local flea market and get exactly what I was chasing. Yeah, there'll be plenty of Marvin Harrison jerseys to be found. There might even be a fake little hologram tacked to it. But I'll get the jersey I require. Don't worry about me. Wow. And I don't think that any other Cardinal fan should worry about access to a Marvin Harrison Jr. jersey. It might not be real, and it might burn your skin or leave a little bit of red on your T-shirt, but you can find that won't be a problem. I can find where I'm sitting right now, and there's people who know where our studio is. I'm less than 100 yards from the entire NFL roster. I can get any jersey I want.
It's going to be like, was it that episode of Saved by the Bell where like they thought they got a deal on class rings and everybody's fingers were green?
It would be that. Yeah.
They let Zach be in charge. That somebody at the school let the senior student be in charge of buying everyone's class rings, and he got hoodwinked.
Well, we talked a little bit yesterday in golf about their rights and with the PGA types, and how they get a little bit of money at the end of the year, depending on their influence and gear sales and all that kind of stuff. I think NFL players are starting to realize that I'm signing away a little bit of money when my jersey is in top 10s in sales, and I don't see any of that. So I think that there's going to be some requests to see some of that, and maybe Marvin will be the first one to go after that.
It will suck if this just lasts a while and then he's like not in Madden or something. That would stink.
Well, and then that's the incentive a lot of times that NFL teams all just hold out. There's benefits to signing these deals because those numbers and everything suddenly goes in everything the NFL promotes. And if you don't get a part of that, then everything else in your brand doesn't get promoted as well. That's an interesting idea, considering his dad was part of the league and knows the pitfalls and all of that. Didn't he wear like a Richard Mille watch in a game?
I really don't know.
I think he did.
I know that Odell has worn some big time watches during games, but I don't know if Marvin Harrison ever did.
I believe he did, and if I am correct, that's a man who knows his value. So let's see if he can rock the boat, shake things up, and see if that uni that will sell pretty well down in Arizona, whether he gets maybe a penny per as it gets done. Well, we're winding down, and you have but 40 seconds, RJ, to dispense the kind of knowledge that will be required to carry our faithful listeners for the next 20 hours as they eagerly await our next broadcast. Any final words to give to those fair listeners?
Don't drink the mint julep. Instead, just get an orange soda and a bottle of water and maybe a hot dog and enjoy the race.
There you go. The words to live by. We will be back. He will be back tomorrow. In the meantime, Greenie's clearing his throat. Romy's swinging on a vine. And the Blitz is preparing like no team has ever prepared before. Hey, thanks for hanging with us. We'll see you tomorrow.
This is Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck on